Travis Etienne revealed a Lisfranc injury to his left foot. He's likely out for the season. An admission from Patriots coach Bill Belichick that with quarterback Cam Newton away from the team facility because of a protocol misunderstanding, a big opportunity's been created for first-round pick Mac Jones. Belichick consistently has said Newton's the starter. It's unlikely Jones can beat him out this week, believes former NFL quarterback Matt Castle.
I think that they've pretty much made up their mind that Cam Newton's going to be their starter to start this season, and they're going to give him the opportunity to go out there. Cam's going to get the first nod no matter what, whether or not, Mac goes out there and has 3 practices and they're all good practices. I still think that they'll start the season off with Cam Newton at quarterback.
Matt Castle on Greeny with Mike Greenberg. Bills receivers Cole Beasley and Gabriel Davis will miss the next 5 days of practice after being deemed close contacts of a team trainer who tested positive for COVID-19. Both players tested negative for the virus this morning, but they must miss practice for the NFL's COVID-19 policy. The ACC, Big Ten, and Pac-12 announcing an alliance that will work together on a collaborative approach surrounding the future evolution of college athletics and scheduling and lead stability at the top of big-time college sports and thwart future realignment.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar Levine Studios.
This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 with Brent Martineau and Austin Lane.
Well, I'd like to say happy Tuesday back in Jacksonville, but maybe not a happy Tuesday. This is a little bit of a Debbie Downer Tuesday. Not because of the Jags' performance, although there's a little element of that, but we can at least couch the Jags' performance with, hey, it's the preseason. I could give you 50 different excuses why, hey, it's not going to look like that come September. But now, one of their weapons, a guy that I thought really was going to change their offense, has an injury that likely will keep him out for the entire season. Bad news on Travis Etienne. You've seen it now over the last hour, I'm sure. It's everywhere. Travis Etienne, a Lisfranc injury, suffered last night. Pretty innocent-looking injury on the field turns into a devastating injury for the young man out of Clemson, the 25th overall pick, and also, of course, the Jacksonville Jaguars offense, because he could be a game changer in it. We are live on location, J-Tech Institute here in Jacksonville. Brent Martineau, Austin Lane, Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 all the way until 6 o'clock. So it'll be cool to see some of the students. They're all in class right now. I'm probably interrupting as I'm yelling through the hallways here at class. But it'll be neat to see some of the folks walking around here. And good to be out here at J-Tech Institute in Jacksonville. And for sure, we'll be here a couple more times over the next couple of months. Austin Lane, you had the Lisfranc injury, man.
Yeah.
It's a bad one. It's one thing if a defensive end has it. It's another thing if a running back has it. We've seen Maurice Jones-Drew, Corey Grant, and now Travis Etienne for the Jags over the years.
It's definitely a devastating injury. When I did mine back in 2012 was during training camp. I was out the entire, duration of training camp, missed the first couple of games, missed the entire preseason as well. It's a gnarly injury, and especially, even from my standpoint where, I'm going to be on my toes a lot in terms of rushing the passer, it's going to hamper you. But being a skill guy, being a guy that is relied on to make cuts, run routes, you couldn't have a worse injury for Travis Etienne. So, I get it. Some people were saying, well, if you look at, I forgot, it was Chris Carson had one, and I guess it was only like a couple weeks there. I guess everyone, it hits differently depending on the severity of it. Mine was considered pretty mild in the standpoint of I didn't have to have surgery. But in terms of injuries that I played with, and I played my fair share, the Lisfranc was by far the worst pain I ever had to endure playing football.
Well, you say it, I think people are like, what is a Lisfranc injury? It's, this was diagnosed at first as a foot sprain and then a mid-foot sprain and then advanced to the Lisfranc stage. And I tweeted out this morning as I was flying back from New Orleans when I saw Lisfranc, those are dirty words, man. That's a dirty word for a running back. It just is. And I talked to Maurice Jones-Drew. I was going to try to get him on. He couldn't do it with his schedule. But he told me this. He said when he had his Lisfranc injury that he wishes he had gotten the surgery instead of tried to come back on it. And you have to wonder, and again, we have no comments coming out of Jags headquarters. We don't know exactly what the doctors are saying to Travis Etienne. But this early in his career to have the Lisfranc, do you sit for 2 months, try to come back on it, or do you fix this thing, get it right, and be right for the rest of your career? I have to wonder if that's the route the Jaguars chose to take, even though maybe he could have come back at some point in the season and tried to play on it.
Yeah, I think actually me and Mo had the Liz Frank injuries the same year.
Yeah.
It was like the year of Liz Frank injuries. And with him, it's understandable. Like with him, you're a running back, right? So it's all about making the cuts, planting, change of pace, all that stuff. So it affected him a lot worse than it affected me because as a pass rusher and as a defensive end, it's more of just lateral. It's going straight forward. It's north to south type of speed as opposed to cutting and all that stuff. So when I had mine, thankfully I had some pretty badass trainers in Mike Ryan that kind of constructed a shoe for me, if you will, where they put like steel plates in my cleat. And that allowed me to, kind of play through the pain as much as possible. Now, I couldn't really rush the passer still. It's primarily just a run defensive end. But it does affect everybody differently. And the way I describe it, it's super hard to describe. You can Google it, and good luck to you if you can figure out all those phrases and that verbiage. But basically what it is if you were to hold up your hand, and hopefully you're not driving when you're doing this, but hold up your hand, and like the webbing like in between your fingers, it's almost like you fracture that or you sprain that. So every single time you put your hand down, it almost like separates, right?
Yeah,
That's what your foot's doing. So every single step that you take, your foot's almost like splitting in two, it feels like, and it's like a sharp dagger going through your foot, and that's what every single step feels like with the Liz Frank injury.
All the nerves, right?
All the nerves, yeah.
And that's painful. And, and not fixable unless you go fix it surgically, and it looks like that's where Travis Etienne is headed. Here's the thing. First of all, I think you do. Listen, there's football fan everywhere is selfish, right? You want the Jags to be good. From a selfish standpoint, I wanted to see what Travis Etienne would do to this offense. We saw nothing from Travis Etienne in the first two preseason games. Like, they hardly even tried to do anything with him. Yeah. So there was more to come. There was a lot more to come. I think people got bent out of shape. We'll talk about the offense and what it looks like, but you have to know, like, they weren't even utilizing Travis Etienne. I think we were going to see so much more in the playbook with Travis Etienne. I thought he was the one guy that really made them different on offense. Speed, playmaker, things that Urban Meyer said. Well, they went and drafted that. So now you lose the draft pick. In that sense, it reminds you a little bit of Dante Fowler Jr. when they get him and they don't get to play him, right? I mean, his rookie year, he tears his ACL. And so from that standpoint, to have a rookie not even be able to play a snap of the regular season, that's a lost draft pick for 2021. But it changes their offense. And now what, right? I mean, how much do they change what they wanted to do? We were talking right before the show. Does Jamal Agnew now play a more significant role? Can he do some of the things they thought Travis Etienne might be able to do? Can Laviska Shenault do some of those things? He's not a speed guy, but he can line up everywhere.
Yeah.
How do they move forward on offense?
See, I mean, you say move forward on offense, but these last two preseason games, when the ones have been in there, we haven't seen a lot of moving forward from the offense.
That's true.
So, and I think the main narrative of what the Monday Night Football staff was trying to paint in terms of the picture, and I agree with them, is what is this offense's identity? Because you don't have an identity right now. Last night proved it. Are you trying to run the ball? Are you trying to set up the pass with the run? Like, it was not good for the ones. And I see a guy like Justin Fields. Now, is Justin Fields playing perfect? Absolutely not. But you get the sense going forward. Now, he's not going to be the starter week one. But you get the sense going forward is that he's going to be the guy in Chicago. You see what the plan is with Justin Fields. They love to get that guy moving. They love to set up the play action and the scrambles and the boots and all that stuff and get that guy in space and let him beat you with his legs or his arm. So there are plans in place. I don't know what the plan right now is for this offense. So I get it. You lose Travis Etienne, and that is a monumental loss. Anytime you lose a first-round draft pick and you can't even get to see what it looks like in the regular season, it's a huge loss. But I have no idea what this offense even is yet or how he was going to be utilized and what the plan without him now is going forward.
Yeah, and I think so many people are frustrated by the Jags' performance and offense and everything. I get it. But there was a reason why they weren't showcasing some of that. I mean, whether Urban Meyer wanted to say, why do we need to be so vanilla? Why can't we showcase some things? They still weren't showcasing things, right? They even opened it up as the game went along last night because they were so frustrated, I think. They started to put Trevor on the move a little bit, right? They did some different things in, I would say, Series 4, 5, and 6 that they didn't do in 1, 2, 3. Maybe that was part of the plan. I don't think so. I think that was more frustration. They were like let's throw this in. We got to move the football a little bit. So I just don't think we saw a lot, and that's not an excuse for their play. They have not looked good, but I don't think we know exactly what it was going to be. You say can you even replace him? I think this is kind of an irreplaceable guy. The Jags didn't have that guy. Jamal Agnew's a punt returner, okay? That's why he's here. He's not necessarily here to be a weapon on offense. And if so, then you really went down a level because Etienne was supposed to take this offense to a new level.
But we don't know what that level is supposed to be.
True.
I mean, were they going to utilize Etienne more in the backfield or more in the slot? Like, I have no idea what the plan for Etienne was because judging by the preseason games, we didn't really get to see that. So I don't know. I really don't know. And I understand. You want to be vanilla. You don't want to throw the entire playbook so other teams can scout it. Okay, so be it. But at the same time, don't you want to see at least an inkling of what your offense is going to be capable of against Houston week 1? Don't you want to see at least some sort of a full arsenal and see, okay, this play works, this play doesn't, let's move on? We didn't see anything.
Yeah, we didn't. And it's debatable. I mean, they weren't using them in what we saw. I just don't believe what we saw is what is real. And I'm not saying it's going to be good. I'm just saying what we saw I don't think is what this offense is intended to be. Now, listen, you know this. You think this. We all think this. Urban Meyer's going to try to run the football. I mean, regardless, whether it's James Robinson, Carlos Hyde, Travis Etienne, you name it. He's going to try to run the football because we think and we know, and I've heard Urban say this, is that hey, that's the best way to take pressure off a young quarterback, be able to run the ball. And he wants to run the ball no matter where he's ever been anyway. So they are going to run. I just think this changes the big play capability, the speed part of it. The Jags are not overly fast on offense. That was a topic last night a lot of folks were talking about on social media, and I don't disagree with them. They're not that fast. But this guy was supposed to be their fast guy,
sure.
You know?
Yeah.
So that changes it. And then there's the mental side of it, all right? What we have in Jacksonville is a lot of scar tissue. So anytime we see anything bad, we're like, oh, my gosh, we've seen this story before, right?
Sure.
And that's with the play on the field I'm talking about. Add to it, you have this situation where, man, lost a first-round draft pick for the year. It's one thing for everybody outside the building to feel that. Do you think they'll feel it inside the building? How devastating of a blow to the team, knowing the talents of Etienne, knowing the investment in Etienne, and getting dealt a blow like this?
Well, I mean, it's going to be a huge, devastating blow. You know, anytime you lose a dynamic guy like that who, you know, we assume is going to be a huge part of that offense, you know, that entire offensive core is going to feel it. So it is a huge loss, you know, and I get it already. Some of the narratives could be, well, he's a bust, he's a bust. I'm never going to fault a guy in his first year for getting hurt, all right, because this is the NFL, and these things unfortunately happen. You know, and now, once again, if you go back to the play where he got hurt, it was nothing out of the ordinary. It's nothing crazy. It was just, you know, it was a freak accident, and those things happen, unfortunately. So I'm not going to fault Etienne and call him a bust and call him injury-prone and all this stuff. That's just the way the game works sometimes. Now, sometimes it feels like the Jaguars have been bit more than others, but then go and talk to the Chargers and then go and get back to me about in terms of their injuries and what they've had to go through year by year. So it will be a huge blow in that locker room. Someone's got to step up now in terms of the speed, whether Agnew's going to be that guy, whether they kind of make it a little more vanilla in terms of just running the football now and setting up the play action. Whatever the case may be, you have to adapt.
Yeah, well, listen, injuries happen. The Jags were pretty good coming out of game one. Marvin Jones looked like he got dinged up a little bit yesterday. He ended up being fine after the game is what Urban Meyer said. He had this injury, which didn't look this devastating at the time. And Cam Robinson didn't play last night because of an ankle injury. Mm-hmm. You know, the Jags have been, knock on wood, through 2 games pretty good until today when this comes out. And this happens. I mean, it happens across the league. You know you're going to lose players, and how devastating this one becomes will be interesting to watch. Does this kind of shock the system a little bit inside that building just because they might have had plans for a player like this? You know, if you lose an offensive lineman, it can really hurt you because you might not have depth. But your offensive line, you're not game planning around. You know, You're game planning around potentially. Again, we didn't see it in 2 weeks, but I think eventually they were going to be game planning and utilizing Etienne in a way where it's going to be tough to just plug and play another guy. I think that's the big part of it. So the big story, Liz Frank injury, looks like he's out for the year. Jags have not commented. We will talk to Urban Meyer and the Jags tomorrow. They flew back late last night, scheduled off day, no media availability today. So this is coming out from the national guys, which is coming out via the agent of Travis Etienne. And Well, that's what we have. Not a good report on Travis Etienne. One last thing, at least for now, we'll get into it much more throughout the show. From a Liz Frank standpoint, you had it. I mentioned Maurice Jones-Drew. Now, Maurice Jones-Drew was at the tail end of his career already when he did it. He was trying to play through it. He, like I told you earlier in the segment, he told me today probably wasn't smart. Surgery would have been better. Rest it, come back. Corey Grant, it all but ended his career as well. I mean, this guy's a young player. He gets the surgery. Are we thinking from – I know you're not a doctor, but could there be some long-term ramifications on his productivity in the NFL based on this injury if he misses the whole year?
No, I mean, once again, I'm like you said, I am not a doctor, but I know with this injury, sometimes when you get it, you're never really the same after that surgery. Now, thankfully for me, I just kind of worked with it. I never had to get surgery on it. I just rested it for about 3 or 4 months, and then the pain was minimal, and I just kept on going about my business. Now, I'll be honest, my foot looks a little more gnarlier than my other foot, but it is what it is. It's the price you pay. I think with ETN, it's so hard to speculate, but he was brought on this team because of his speed, because of his ability to cut and all that stuff. When you talk about your foot, well, that's primarily where it comes from, your speed and your ability to be agile. And if your foot is, if your foot is compensated and, if it is hurt, you may not be that same guy that you were before. I don't want to speak on behalf of Travis Etienne. Only he knows that down the line, and the doctors know that. But a lot of guys we've seen, when this injury takes place, they're never really the same.
Brent Martineau, Austin Lane, we're live at J-Tech Institute here. I'm going to be live a few times over the next couple of months from the J-Tech Institute. Looking forward to seeing some of the students walking around. 500 students go here, by the way. Yeah. So that would be kind of cool. And we'll give you more information on J-Tech as it goes along. But good to be out and about. I just came back this morning from New Orleans from the game last night. Obviously, the ETN news is fresh in the last hour. But on top of that news, Austin, it was not a good performance again by the Jags in the first half. I mean, you're talking about 2 quarters in the first half where you're looking at mostly the ones and some of the twos against Cleveland, ones and twos against New Orleans. Not pretty. I mean, not a lot to just grab onto here in Jacksonville right now and say, all right, I got this. Yeah. There's really not a lot to grab onto coming off these 2 performances.
No. And that's what I kind of, I've been preaching of what to look for in these preseason games. What are some silver linings? What are some shining moments you can take with you and be, okay, this looks different. We can win with this when the regular season starts. Last night, didn't really see any of that from the ones in terms of offense or defense. I said this could be a big game for the cornerbacks. Why was I wrong? Because I'll be honest, if you go on that depth chart in terms of the New Orleans Saints, none of those guys are really standing out to you. I'll be honest, I don't even know who Marquez Callaway is. Okay, I don't know where he came from. I don't know how old he is. I don't know his experience. I don't know where he was drafted. I really don't know who Marquez Callaway is. Well, last night the entire world knew who Marquez Callaway is because he put on a performance, that one receiver's put on. I mean, when we're talking,
2 great catches.
5 receptions, 104 yards, 2 touchdowns.
2 fantastic catches.
Yeah, but I mean, they're fantastic catches, fantastic.
Well, I'm just saying, it's just unbelievable.
Yeah,
highlight reel.
No, they were great. And then we talk about with Jameis Winston, Taysom Hill, that quarterback, controversy, that quarterback battle. Well, Jameis needed 2 drives, and Sean Payton's like, okay, we're all good. I mean, what more can we see from this guy in terms of him carving up the Jaguars' defense? So it was not a good showing on defense. Tyson Campbell once again gets turned around. That's literally 2 weeks in a row where it could be starting to become an issue. Shaq Griffin playing man coverage didn't look that confident out there. I mean, you can go down the list, Brent. All right, you can go with the pass rushing, especially in the first half. You didn't really see a lot of it. Now Jahad Ward had himself a game. Smoot, I think, had a sack there as well. But overall, from what you saw from these ones. And keep in mind, this wasn't even close to the full arsenal of the New Orleans Saints. Alvin Kamara was out. Michael Thomas, will be back kind of, I think, halfway through the season. It wasn't even close to the full arsenal of this Saints offense, and they absolutely had their way with the Jaguars defense.
Yeah, the passing defense of the Jacksonville Jaguars, not good. I mean, here's my big takeaway from this game. Last week we could sit there and talk about the Jags draft class and kind of get excited. Trevor Lawrence did some good things in the first game, right? 6 of 9. There was stuff to pull from. Etienne still had everybody excited, even though he really didn't do that much in the Cleveland game. Walker Little was kind of one of the stories of camp.
Because he's good at one-on-ones.
Yeah.
And what did I tell people? I said you can't go off of one-on-ones to determine if a guy's going to start or not.
Tyson Campbell had some nice moments. He got turned around on the one touchdown against Cleveland. But you came out of that game and you're like, hey, man, Andre Sisco, right? Yeah. You're like, this draft class. Now you go a week later and Trevor, I still can find some things I like about Trevor, and he's going to be fine. I still believe that. Now Etienne done for the year. Now Tyson Campbell, it wasn't his guy, but still he looked lost with the ball in the air. That's twice now he's done that. Walker Little got pushed around, quite frankly, last night a couple of times, and he didn't play great even in the game against the Cleveland overall. And Sisco, I thought, still had a couple moments, but nothing great. So they don't stand out, So now we're taking a look at the draft class a week later, like, oh, okay, maybe we're not going to get the contribution that the Jags hope for from them.
So here's the thing: it's one thing if they look good in practice, and that's fantastic. It's another thing when the lights are on and it's preseason. And I get it. We always overreact, whether you're a fan, whether you're in the media. Overreaction is a thing of the preseason. But let's be honest with ourselves right now. In terms of overreaction, I can sit here and overreact of all the bad things that I saw, whether it's on offense or defense. What can I overreact and say that what was good from that preseason game last night in New Orleans? CJ Beathard, I guess, your third-string quarterback? I can overreact and say, well, maybe he's the second-string quarterback now. What else can I overreact on and say, wow, this could be special going forward?
I was thinking of you. I had a couple of things that I wanted to. I'm wondering if they will carry over at all. And again, I might have to stretch this out, but it's actually been a theme that we've talked about before. And then a theory behind potentially their really poor play so far and sluggish play in the preseason to this point. That is coming up. But then really just talking about what concerns you, because it's small samples. It's a mixture of players. The preseason's odd like that, but it's what we have. And we're already on the panic button. We're already on a reality check. And then, of course, more on the news of Travis Etienne, which the reality of that really stinks today. We're live at J-Tech Institute. Brent Martineau, Austin Lane, Action Sports Shacks on ESPN 690. So much more Jags talk here on a Tuesday, coming off a not-so-great Monday Night Football performance. We'll be back on ESPN 690.
Now, the First Alert Forecast on ESPN 690.
Partly sunny and hot again today with temperatures in the low 90s, yet more midday showers and storms into this afternoon. Shower early tonight, then partly cloudy, low 73. Or partly sunny Wednesday, a few storms, high 89 degrees. The sea breeze tracks inland, especially tomorrow afternoon and evening, into Thursday as well, keeping that threat for rain around. From the Action News Jax First Alert Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Corey Sima.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beard's Diamonds, where for a limited time, get 0% financing for 5 years, only at Beard's Diamonds.
The Community Spotlight Award this week goes to Beaver Toyota. Beaver Toyota is a partner in the community. They have a Random Act of Wow program that they see as a way of paying it forward. If you see Mike or Linda Beaver, Nick Ruther, or anyone from Beaver Toyota this week, thank them for being a great partner in the community. The Community Spotlight Award recognizes those that are great community partners. Again, this week the Community Spotlight Award goes to Beaver Toyota. Congrats to Beaver Toyota.
No matter what you are driving, you can step up to luxury now at any of the Fields Auto Group dealerships in Jacksonville. Cadillac, Jaguar, Land Rover, Lexus, Mercedes-Benz, and Porsche. Yes, it's luxury for less at all Fields Auto Group locations in Jacksonville. Plus, you'll also be part of their exclusive Fields Amenities program, where you will get complimentary loaners, car washes, and cafes. So whatever you're driving, see Fields first and step up to luxury for less during this amazing opportunity. Visit fieldsauto.com.
At Tire Outlet, we're committed to providing our customers with professional and honest automotive recommendations. Don't believe us? Check out our reviews online and see why we're Jacksonville's preferred automotive shop.
Great guys to work with, always very helpful and affordable.
With 12 locations across Northeast Florida, Tire Outlet can help keep you and your family safe on the road, wherever you are.
Wholesale prices, premium service, Tire Outlet. Can you picture a better way to spend a beautiful fall day supporting a great cause than on the world-renowned stadium course at TPC Sawgrass? Ronald McDonald House Jacksonville will host its annual Golf Classic event 9:30 a.m. Monday, October 11 at TPC Sawgrass. Experience an unforgettable afternoon of golf while supporting critically ill children and their families. For details and to register your foursome, visit www.rmhcjacksonville.org.
Currently, Encore Borland-Groover Clinical Research, EBGCR, has a new clinical trial with Dr. Pino and Dr. Annie Lancani of Borland-Groover for patients diagnosed with eosinophilic disease or individuals experiencing weekly unresolved chronic IBS with symptoms including bloating, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, cramping, abdominal pain, and other persistent GI concerns. Studies are currently ongoing across Jacksonville and St. Augustine, and you may be eligible to participate in a clinical study. To learn more, call 904-680-0871 or ebgcr.com/contact.
Are you a recent high school graduate who hasn't made up their mind about what they want to do for their career? Or possibly you're already working, but you're stuck in a dead-end job? If so, then I'm here to tell you about JTech. JTech is a local school that offers hands-on essential career training. Have you heard about the massive increase in online ordering since the pandemic started? That means that more people are needed who can service diesel trucks. Diesel technology is an important part of the transportation industry, and qualified diesel technicians play a huge role in keeping that industry moving. At JTech, they're helping to meet the demand for skilled diesel technicians by offering a 91 credit hour ASE-based diesel technology program. This program is going to help you give you the hands-on skills and confidence needed to launch a successful career in diesel technology. To learn more about JTech, visit jtech.org or call them at 904-483-9460. Ask for Hank to set up an appointment to tour the campus or get your questions answered. That's 904-483-9460 or visit jtech.org.
I love football and I love chicken wings. Hey, everybody, this is Brent Mortno. We are a lot alike, right? You love football and you love wings. Let's win the week with Extreme Wings Sports Grill. 4 locations in Jacksonville, Atlantic Boulevard, Ocean Way, 210 in St. Johns County, and the new location on Roosevelt Boulevard near NAS Jax, serving up the freshest, never frozen, world-famous extreme hot wings to Jacksonville since 1999. We like football. We like wings. We love a good deal. To celebrate the grand opening of the Extreme Wings Roosevelt location, get 6 wings, french fries, and a drink for just $12.99 at the Roosevelt location. 6 wings, french fries, and a drink, just $12.99. Active military gets special discounts: jalapeno ranch, Caribbean jerk, spicy blue cheese, lemon pepper. So many flavors to choose from. And, of course, they can make them extreme if you want. Plenty of space at Extreme Wings Sports Grill locations. If you're looking for a place for the entire team, try Extreme Wings Sports Grill. I love it. You'll love it. 4 locations in Jacksonville, including Roosevelt Boulevard near NAS Jax.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Austin Lane from Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. Smart speakers are becoming part of everyday life, so why not use it to listen to the radio? Tell Alexa, Google Home, or any other speaker to play ESPN 690. Give it a shot weekday afternoons from 3 to 6.
Hey, I love walking into my house, what I'll do later tonight when I just got back, of course, from the trip, and smooth sailing from my car right into the door of the house through the garage. That's because everything's off the ground in the garage. It's nice and clean. Thanks to Easy Garage Solutions, they have this terrific monkey bar technology. You can hang the lawn equipment, the beach chairs, everything else. The bike's included on the wall. Get them off the floor. Create more room in your garage space. That's what I did with Easy Garage Solutions. Check them out at easygaragesolutions.com. They'll change your garage. They'll give you more space. And it makes it way more efficient and much more happy walk from the car into your house without dodging everything in sight. Easy Garage Solutions. Check them out at easygaragesolutions.com.
Hey, what's up? It's Austin Lane. Check out Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 or ESPN690.com.
All right, welcome back to JTech Institute here in Jacksonville. Brent Martineau, Austin Lane. Good to be out here on the road. Good to have you on the road, Austin Lane. It's been a bit.
Good to be on the road, man. Yeah.
I know we've been kind of bouncing all over the place, but it's great to be here at JTech Institute. Hope to see you. If it's not this time around, we'll come out a couple more times and take a tour of the facility, the school, and over 500 students here at JTech Institute. Pretty cool place right here in Jacksonville. Brent Martineau, Austin Lane, Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Casey getting it all done. We'll do the QB report card on Wednesday this week. Everything kind of pushed back a day. So we'll have to wait to hear Casey's fantastic open to the segment till tomorrow.
I've been chomping at the bit, Casey. All right, I have an itch, and only that can scratch it, so I can't wait to hear it again.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, looking forward to it. I don't know if I'm looking forward to that or not, but we will do it tomorrow. Either way, Travis Etienne has officially been placed on injured reserve by the Jacksonville Jaguars. That just happened. They also made a couple of other moves. Jamison Houston, Kenny Randall, and Derwin Gray. Derwin Gray is an offensive lineman. Kenny Randall's a defensive tackle. Jamison Houston, a corner. And they have been waived. Now, that's 4 moves, Austin, so we anticipate one more. You got to get down to 80 today, and then it will be next Tuesday, the 31st. That's the final 53.
Yeah.
And I don't know if anybody's play is confusing the roster decision makers or not, but it might be a tough cut just based off who's played well in these games.
No, it really will be. And when we talk about the roster cuts, I mean, we can go top to bottom on this roster, and let's be honest, there hasn't been a lot of positives to see the first 2 games. But the one that really sticks out to me in terms of his play right now is C.J. Beathard. And I've said it many times on this show, I don't care what he looks like at practice. What I've seen from the games, regardless if he's going against the 2s, the 3s, the 4s, the 5s, I don't care what depth they are, that guy has been the best quarterback on this roster. And I wonder going forward if there's going to be a plan now, what do you do? Do you keep 3 quarterbacks and have one guy in the practice squad possibly? Do you keep 2 quarterbacks and try to ship Minshew off? That's probably the biggest question I have right now in terms of depth going forward.
Yeah, I think we're going to talk about that too. I want to get to a couple of things. Give me the sunshine and rainbows on a Tuesday. Man, I can't have all this negativity in my life.
I can't wait to hear this one.
I can't have all this negativity.
I can't wait to hear you spin this in a positive light.
All right, so I'm going to go with something that, and I don't even know, I got to look at the stat on this, but I'm going to go with something that you talked about in these last couple of years that you had a major problem with, and you identified it in the preseason and it carried over, and that was discipline.
Okay.
All right, flags. I see this team getting procedurally set up. I mean, there's some holding calls and things like that. That happens in football, but it's not like eye-popping like it has been. Sure. Is that a good sign for the Jags from a discipline standpoint, that they're not kind of shooting themselves in the foot over and over? Actually, we saw it from Jameis Winston and the Saints, right? I mean, a couple false starts. Mm-hmm. Those kind of things. There's a lot to pick apart right now in the Jags. But that was just something that always registers with me, because you pointed it out in the preseason a couple years ago, even with Marone and Coughlin, who preached discipline, mm-hmm. and it didn't play out, and they had problems all year with it, and you called it. You said that's something that doesn't get fixed. Like, you either do that or you don't.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's a good sign so far through a couple of games. The Jags are not at least have dirty laundry all over the field.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of penalties, I think they had 4 last night, so that's, yeah, sure. Positive. I mean, yeah.
Well, I'm serious.
It is a positive. Yeah, they haven't had a lot of penalties.
Even I said this to Trevor Lawrence. This is a guy trying to get the offense together and know the offense. He's getting his guys lined up. Like,
sure.
The cadence stuff is good.
Yes.
When they had a miscommunication, he calls timeout. No panic there. Mm-hmm. I just think those are baby steps for a young quarterback that I think he, through 6 series yesterday, did a nice job of, through a couple series in the first game.
Sure.
Hey, man, I know I'm digging deep. But
you are. I mean, I understand. This is
I'll give you the other thing. He hasn't found the end zone, but he's not turning the football over. And they are holding on the ball. Now, Minshew has the bad turnover.
Yeah.
But outside of that, they don't look like a turnover machine.
Yeah.
Is that another thing that could carry over, where they take care of the football?
Yeah, in terms of winning football games and what coaches preach, and this is literally every coach in whatever, college football, NFL, even high school, yeah, you can't afford the cheap penalties and you can't afford turnovers. To be fair, the Jaguars have done a good job of keeping those things to a minimum. So I agree with you. Those are 2 positives.
Okay. This is more philosophical approach, okay? 2017, this team was beat up in training camp and played really poor in the first couple of preseason games especially.
They scored points, though, didn't they?
Yeah, they might not have played this poor. I didn't even go back and look. But I just know it was they got, like, thumped by the Bucs. I think they had practiced with the Bucs and then got thumped by them.
Okay.
And that was after that game. Mercedes Lewis was like, we got nothing left.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, we're getting killed here in camp. Like, we got nothing left by the time we get to a game. Is there any possibility this has been a tough camp? We called it. We knew it was going to be a tough camp. I had somebody yesterday in the team hotel who like, I've never seen a camp like this. and that somebody has been around. Okay,
in terms of player or personnel?
No, personnel. Okay. So like this, I think it just goes to show. We can argue, is it a tougher camp than another camp? I think it goes to show you, though, it's pretty tough camp.
Okay.
Is there any possibility it's been such a tough camp that these guys don't have a lot left when they get to the games, a la 2017? And I want to be clear here. I'm not trying to tell you they're going to do what they did in 2017.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to wonder, is that a possible problem spot for some of their poor play through 2 games?
So I'll be honest. I mean, if you want to go back to 2017, their preseason games, play the Patriots, beat them 31-24. Play the Buccaneers, lose to them 12-8. Play the play the Panthers, lose to them 24-23 by 1, and then play the Falcons, they win that game 13-7. At least these games were close. Okay, now once again, that Saints game last night, it ended close, but you got the feeling that it could have been a blowout. As far as, what was the question again? I'm sorry.
I just wonder if you're getting beat up in camp, will you play poorly?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like every camp is going to be some sort of take its physical toll on you. Now, some camps are going to be a lot more aggressive than others. I always hear about how the Ravens throw on the worst training camp, like the hardest training camp you can ever imagine.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
Win.
They win, and I think in the regular season they're okay. So I don't know. Maybe guys are tired. Maybe since they're young, they don't know how to take care of their bodies. I don't know if you want to put that for an excuse. What I come around to is, how is what we've seen so far in this preseason any different than what we've seen last year?
Nothing so far.
Well,
it's nothing.
And
that was my question. That stops there. That's it.
And it was Club Med last year, I was told.
Yeah. That's all I got.
Sure.
That's all I got. I will say this.
Even the punting.
Yeah, the punting.
Which has been the go-to.
I said this. I think I tweeted this last night, or I don't know if I was just thinking of it. But I think special teams right now, on the list of major disappointment things through the first 2 games, I think would be – on the fan list, it's not going to be super high. I think on Urban Meyer's list, it's extremely high. Josh Lambo has not had a good camp. Lambo has missed a couple of kicks. I mean, your quarterback goes on a 2-minute drill, gets you down the field, you finally get something cooking, and then you miss the kick. Mm-hmm. Right? I think it was that time you missed the kick, right before half. Yeah, because then they go down and kick one with Aldrich Rosas, just to kind of rub it in your face a little bit, the guy that you had in camp. And then Logan Cook, who's been so good over the years, I mean, he shanks one. But they've had penalties on them. They gave up a 12, 15-yard return. Their returns have been nothing. I mean, again, preseason or not, I think special teams has looked really bad so far for the Jacksonville Jaguars. And there was supposed to be investments there. It shouldn't look as bad as it's looked to this point. So, listen, there's not a lot to grab onto. Trevor Lawrence, I still think he shows us some moments, right? The use of his legs, man, he's fast when he wants to get out there. Sure. On the run, he should have slid because you don't want him to get hurt.
Yeah.
But it showed the competitive nature of him. Everybody's going to say that. He's a football player. We know he's competitive. But I thought it was like the speed there. I think we're going to see more of that. I think the read option is open at times. I think we see that more in the season. I like some of the rollouts. I mean, the throw he made from the end zone on the first series was a really nice throw. I think when they start moving him out of the pocket, he makes some plays. So there were some signs. It's not like, oh, my gosh, but a lot of it's under pressure, man. I mean, I think the stat is 42% under pressure so far.
A lot of it is under pressure, and a lot of it is not being able to run the ball either.
Yeah, true.
I mean, if you become one-dimensional, you're going to have some issues. Like, at least, and once again, preseason, okay. So we'll see how it pans out. Week 1 against Houston. But your saving grace last year was the fact that you actually had James Robinson and you could pound the rock a little bit. Now your passing game, it was kind of few and far between, but at least you had that going for you right now. From this standpoint, yeah, I think Trevor had maybe 2 good throws. 3 good throws?
Yeah, I would say.
Now, I'm going to be honest. If you look around the NFL in terms of the rookie class right now, every rookie's going to have a couple good throws. I mean, like that's standard. That's par for the course these days in the NFL. But the fact that you can't run the ball makes you a little nervous because, once again, it comes down to identity. And we know Urban Meyer wants to run the ball. He's made a point of that with the guys that he's brought in, and Chris Manhertz. And they haven't talked about him talking to Joe Burrow. And asking for advice. They mentioned that during the segment last night. Well, if you can't run the ball and that's what your bread and butter is supposed to be, you're going to have some issues.
Yeah. What level of excuses do you give Trevor right now or this offense based on the fact that no Linder, no Norwell, no Cam Robinson last night. That offensive line. I mean, you're playing it. Listen. I'm going to be proven wrong again. I like their offensive line. I've been consistent with that. I think it's better than people think. I think everybody in the NFL hates their offensive line. I think every fan base hates their offensive line. But the bottom line is this offensive line ain't getting the job done. I mean, 4th and 1 last week against Cleveland. I don't care who you got in there. You couldn't move anybody. This week, you got a sack, and there are 3 offensive linemen piled on top of each other like it's the big one at Daytona. I mean, you had to peel people off. So it's like, I don't care who's in there right now. They're not getting it done, and that's concerning because I even like their depth with Barch and Shatley and Walker Little. I thought they had some guys behind in case they needed them. I don't like the way this offensive line is tracking right now, and I think the fans who always hate the offensive line are going to be more right at the moment.
No, right now I would say the fans that were very critical, they're justified right now. Now, yesterday when we broke it down a little bit, I was under the impression that the Saints weren't going to be playing their starters for a long time, but you did see Marcus Davenport out there. You did see Cam Jordan out there. I think it was like 10 reps, something like that. Nothing too much, but you did see Cam Jordan. So you saw the Saints defense pretty much at full capacity, and you saw what they did that offensive line. Now, I hate to tell you, but there's other offensive lines that are like the Saints out there, right, that are going to have good edge rushers. They're going to have explosiveness in the middle. And what you've seen from this core of guys right now, and I get it, some of your starters weren't playing, but, man, you have to give your quarterback a chance. You have to give your quarterback a chance in Trevor Lawrence. And I think it could maybe warrant the conversation now of, do you feel confident putting him in there week 1 against Houston if you're not going to be full strength? Because I'm not sure what the severity of the injuries are with Brandon Linder, or with Andrew Norwell. I'll tell you this much. During the NFL season, you're not going to have a full, healthy offensive line all the time. You got to plug and play guys in. Every single team does this, so that's not an excuse, in my opinion. You got to find guys that can step up and play because you don't want to see Trevor Lawrence get hurt. Yeah, I agree. Right? Listen, it's hard to defend the offensive line. Doesn't matter who they have in there. Has not been good. When your quarterback's under pressure 42% of the time, I think that's the next-gen stat that's going around. Oh, man, that's not good. You're trying to get him acclimated to the NFL, not speed up the clock. I think he's handled it pretty well, though, so far. More on Trevor Lawrence, more on Travis Etienne, more on this game and where the Jags go from here. And how much do they have to play well to have a good feeling against Dallas coming up in a short week? Or does that game just not mean much and get me to the regular season? We talk about it. We're live at J-Tech Institute. A lot of Jags talk here on a Tuesday. Action Sports Jags on ESPN 690.
Keep climbing.
It's intercepted. Picked off of the 12. He will go down. He finds the promised land. Touchdown, FSU.
This is your home for FSU football.
Outside the numbers to the 10. 5, 3, 2, 1. It's a touchdown, Florida State. Intercepted. Picked off of the 33-yard line. Noles win. Noles win.
Catch live coverage of the Seminoles all season long, right here on your home for Florida State football.
Sponsored by Willie Jewell's Old School Barbecue. Smoked for hours, served in minutes.
It's a national sales event at Arlington Toyota Pre-Owned, and Arlington's got over 400 used available. Yep, 400. Come to Arlington Pre-Owned and you'll find Jeeps, Chevys, Fords, Hondas, Toyotas, imports, domestics. Arlington's got it all. Plus, during the national sales event, enjoy no payments until 2022. 2022. And you get Arlington's 30-day exchange program with your purchase. That's 30 days to love your purchase or exchange it. Shop in person, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard and at arlingtontoyota.com. Visit arlingtontoyota.com/August for full details.
I love football and I love chicken wings. Hey, everybody, this is Brent Mortno. We are a lot alike, right? You love football and you love wings. Let's win the week with Extreme Wings Sports Grill. 4 locations in Jacksonville, Atlantic Boulevard, Ocean Way, 210 in St. Johns County, and the new location on Roosevelt Boulevard near NAS Jacks, serving up the freshest, never frozen, world-famous extreme hot wings to Jacksonville since 1999. We like football. We like wings. We love a good deal. To celebrate the grand opening of the Extreme Wings Roosevelt location, get 6 wings, french fries, and a drink for just $12.99 at the Roosevelt location. 6 wings, french fries, and a drink, just $12.99. Active military gets special discounts: jalapeno ranch, Caribbean jerk, spicy blue cheese, lemon pepper. So many flavors to choose from. And, of course, they can make them extreme if you want. Plenty of space at Extreme Wing Sports Grill locations. If you're looking for a place for the entire team, try Extreme Wing Sports Grill I love it. You'll love it. 4 locations in Jacksonville, including Roosevelt Boulevard near NAS Jax.
If you're anything like me, then cars were an important part of your childhood growing up. Literally, some of my very first memories involved helping my grandpa build old cars. If you're into cars, then you know that the technology is always evolving, which is why there's a demand for well-trained automotive technicians. As a student in the automotive technology program at JTech, you'll be learning basic automotive maintenance, diagnostic procedures, and effective repair methods while using testing equipment and specialized tools. The program also includes training on electrical, HVAC, engine performance, suspension, steering, brake systems, and transmission diagnosis and repair. Their shop settings are designed to represent the actual automotive environments that you will be experiencing when you get into the automotive industry. To learn more about JTech, visit jtech.org or call them at 904-483-9460. Ask for Hank to set up an appointment to tour the campus or get your questions answered. That's 904-483-9460 or visit jtech.org.
Galaxy Builders, they're out of this world. Galaxy Builders, they're out of this world.
Galaxy Builders is hiring qualified roof repair technicians. Roof repair technicians receive a $5,000 signing bonus and base salary starting at $52,000 a year with paid holidays and 401k plan. Galaxy Builders will provide a company truck with all necessary tools and materials. Experienced roof repair technicians can fill out the Contact Us form at galaxyfla.com to schedule an interview.
Hi, I'm Tom Van Osdal, President and CEO of Ascension Florida and Gulf Coast. I'm proud to be the chair of this year's American Heart Association First Coast Heart Walk, coming up on Saturday, September 11th. This year, out of an abundance of caution and for the health of our community, rather than one large event, we will have 3 satellite locations in different Jacksonville neighborhoods. Visit firstcoastheartwalk.org today and learn more and find the location nearest you.
Men, do you feel embarrassed in the bedroom because of ED or PE? Prime Men's Medical Center has the solution.
I'm Dr. Brown. 98% of patients experience a positive result from the treatment in just 10 minutes after just one office visit. Men are lasting 30, 60, 90 minutes or longer, and it's affordable.
Call Prime Men's Medical Center at 904-664-8217. See results on your first visit guaranteed or pay nothing. Call 904-664-8217.
At Allstate, we've been saying you're in good hands for a long time. But what exactly does that mean? Does it mean you're protected from life's uncertainties? Does it mean you can worry less and live a little more? Does it mean you're not alone, even when things get kind of hard? Actually, yes. Yes, it does. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Allstate and affiliates offer products and services subject to availability, terms, and conditions.
Listen to ESPN 690 anytime, anywhere, on any device. Whether you're at home or on the go, get the latest on the Jags, FSU, the Jumbo Shrimp, and Action Sports Jacks on Odyssey.com. That's AUDACY.com or on ESPN690.com.
I was so focused on the terrible body language of that coaching staff last night and Urban Meyer and everybody around him and not having answers for this kid trying to play a game against the ones, against the Saints. And I was more frustrated about that than I was of trying to see if I know Trevor Lawrence can play at a high level. I know Trevor Lawrence has all the requisite tools you need in order to be a top-tier talent in this league. Trevor Lawrence ain't the issue in Jacksonville.
Who was that? Why do I know who that is and I can't pinpoint? I'm usually good at this game.
This is kind of your game.
Was that Sharp?
No. Sharp. Who is Sharp?
No.
Definitely was not Shannon Sharp.
That's is that Spears?
That is Marcus Spears.
So it's Marcus Spears. Yeah. I don't know. I'm usually good at this game, Casey. I was... Maybe my ears haven't popped from the flight still. Maybe that was it.
Well, we're on the road, too. It is a away game, so we're at disadvantage.
It's an away game. That's right. The crowd is noisy.
It's a little noisy here sometimes.
We are at JTech Institute. Go visit jtech.org for more information. Really cool place right here in town that they do so many different programs. Automotive technology, HVAC, marine and RV technology, diesel technology. I could learn a lot over here. I could really learn a lot over here.
For sure, man.
I could not teach a course.
Yeah.
Okay. So Check out jtech.org. Brent Martineau, Austin Lane, Casey here on a Tuesday, and it's kind of a terrible Tuesday in Jacksonville. It was a bad performance last night by the Jags. I think that's secondary. That's the footnote. Travis Etienne out for the year on injured reserve, which means he's not eligible to come back because wasn't even on the 53. You can go on short-term IR if you make the cut, basically, which he would have. But if this happened next week, it could be a short-term IR thing. He's done. He's done for the year. First-round pick, Travis Etienne, game changer on offense, in my opinion, if they were going to use him the right way. We never saw that, but we think eventually they would have got to that. Speed guy, game-breaking ability guy. It's a big blow. You can't downplay it. It's a big blow for a Jaguars offense that looks, quite frankly, terrible right now. Yeah. It just doesn't look good. You heard what Marcus Spears just said. Did you have concern about the sideline demeanor of Urban Meyer?
I mean, I feel like that's the way Urban Meyer is. I feel like from, the national media or the national audience's perspective, it probably didn't look the best. I don't read too much into that. But, it's another clip now that the national media can use as ammunition. And, that's why I was so excited for that game last night, because it was your audition, to showcase who this team is. Number one with Trevor Lawrence, number two with Urban Meyer, and it was really a chance for you to introduce yourselves, to the national audience. And let's be honest, I know it was a close game, but in that first half, when the meaningful starters were in there wasn't much to write home about. So you're going to hear these narratives now, and once again, maybe you don't care about what the national people think. I think everybody should care a little bit because it is about respect. But as far as I'm concerned, they can say whatever they want after last night. There wasn't a lot of positive. I'm not going to hold anybody accountable for what they say today about the Jaguars because let's be honest, there wasn't a lot to cheer for last night.
Yeah, I think it's open game on the Jaguars right now. I'll just say this. Here's my thought. I saw some of that going around. It's and Marcus Spears saying it. I'm not that concerned about – this is a difference between college and the NFL, and he might have looked like that in college anyway if things were going that poorly. Mm-hmm. But I don't think Urban Meyer and the way he looks, and if he looks disappointed and looks mad, if he was clapping, people would be mad about it, This to me, I just tweeted this, to me has the whole Jack Del Rio wearing sunglasses on the sideline kind of take to it. But people used to get mad around here because Del Rio wore sunglasses on the sideline.
But here's the thing, though, and I get that. But when Urban Meyer's demeanor last night is when a play didn't go his way, then he was, head was down, obviously frustrated. Yeah. And that is going to last with people a lot longer than a coach wearing sunglasses.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If it's not going good, your demeanor can only amplify something if it's not going good. And I think the demeanor last night, Urban Meyer might have done that a little bit.
We've seen it so many different ways, right? We've seen stoic Doug Marrone. We've seen happy and positive Gus Bradley. The bottom line is when you're losing and you stink, you're losing, it's not good.
Oh, no, listen,
right?
I'm not going to – like I said, I don't read too much into it because if I was a coach, I'd probably be punching through clipboards and
I think people like to see that, though.
Well, maybe.
They like some of that.
To an extent.
You can't do that in a preseason game.
I probably would be doing that as well. Did you see the coverage last night a little bit every once in a while? I would probably be smashing Microsoft Offices or whatever you call the surfaces, whatever you call them, whatever it is. But, yeah, so, it's just – that's just another thing, though, Brent.
Yeah.
That's another thing on a laundry list of things right now that people can nitpick. The low-hanging fruit right now that is the Jacksonville Jaguars. I wouldn't be too concerned by it, but I get people that are.
Yeah, I think a lot of that – listen, body language is a big deal in sports. Talk to my kids about it. Anybody at any level talks to – from a coach standpoint, body language, especially if you're a key person. Coach's body language we don't really talk about often. Quarterback's body language we talk about often. A pitcher's body language we talk about often. So a coach, you don't really talk about it that much. We'll see. Listen, I had some people today be like, hey, he's slow playing. Urban's slow playing the league right now. You watch. They're going to play well in September. Then there's people like, oh, my gosh. All those looks by Urban is like, this is not what I thought it was going to be.
Well,
so, you get all these different things. There might be an element of Urban Meyer right now that's like, dang, I thought this was going to look better than this.
There has to be. The whole narrative of he's slow playing, wait till he – come on.
Yeah, I'm just telling you as someone
No, I get it, and I'm saying those people I don't agree with those people. whoever those people are, I don't know who those people are. But there's no way a brand new coach in the NFL, especially an Urban Meyer type, is going to go and say, hey guys, you know what? Let's go ahead and just slow play these games a little bit. Let's go ahead and just, let's get 70 yards offense in the first half. Well, okay, maybe we'll be a little more generous this game and let's get 100-something yards. Touchdowns? No, not in the first half. We'll save for the second half. No, there's no way. Yeah, it's just it is what it is right now, and you got to try to dig yourself out of this whatever rut you're in.
Yeah, and how much of a difference is this to the regular season? That's what we're about to find out in a couple of weeks, right? Because it's pretty bad right now in Jacksonville the way it looks. Does it look this bad in September against Houston? Because Houston will kick the tail out of the Jags if it looks like this. I don't care how bad Houston is. It just hasn't looked good enough so far for the Jaguars. We'll take a break. We come back with more. Hey, what's the fantasy impact of Travis Etienne? Huh? I mean, I bet fantasy owners are not happy today.
Hopefully you didn't draft yet.
Yeah, hopefully you didn't in some respect. We'll also get a doctor's point of view on the Liz Frank injury and what it means for Travis Etienne. That's coming up in the 4 o'clock hour, and much more Jags talk. How much concern at other positions are there right now? And what do you make of what Trevor Lawrence has done in these first couple of preseason games with everything else kind of imploding around him? That's coming up at 4. Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 on the road at J-Tech Institute.
Hello, you have reached the Crooks R Us Training Helpline. Today, we're discussing the differences between a safe-touch security system and a do-it-yourself security system.
One's professionally installed and monitored, while the other one comes in a box.
Well, yeah, there's that. As you know, houses with safe-touch security systems are strictly off-limits to us crooks, for many reasons.
Professional installation and monitoring among them.
Correct. And by contrast, alarm systems that come in a box with do-it-yourself installation are a crook's best friend.
Plus, they have DIY monitoring. No comparison to SafeTouch's two-way communicator.
Excellent point. So to sum up, as crooks, you'll want to avoid any house with SafeTouch security. And tell your loved ones if they're going to buy something that comes in a box, just make it cornflakes.
Only one security system is truly the best. Hi, I'm Lester Jackson, president of SafeTouch Security Systems. No one beats our technology or our price.
Call SafeTouch today at 888-723-8682 or go to safetouch.com. State license number EF233.
Hello, Jacksonville. This is Greg McGarity. The future of college football is now, and our primary goal is to position the Tax Slayer Gator Bowl and Jacksonville to be prepared for a potential college football expansion. And we need you, our local business leaders, to join our team and showcase that Jacksonville supports college football. Gator Bowl Sports has opportunities for all companies, whether you have 5 employees or 5,000. I would love to meet you and talk about our future. If you'd like to learn more, contact me at 904-798-1700.
We are into that travel, baseball, and softball season now for the kids, and with that, we need a reliable car, and we need folks that are tremendous at customer service just in case we need their help. Well, the place to go is Fields Auto Group. That's what we did. My wife loves leasing her Cadillac XT6 from Fields Cadillac, part of the Fields Auto Group. It's safe. We can trust Fields Auto Group, and hey, it's luxury for less while you're on the road. Fields Cadillac Jacksonville and St. Augustine are part of the Fields Auto Group family. There's also Jaguar, Land Rover, Lexus, Mercedes-Benz, and Porsche. It's luxury for less at all Fields Auto Group locations in Jacksonville. Plus, you'll also be part of their exclusive Fields Amenities program, where you get complimentary loaners, car washes, and cafes. We've tried the loaner program, gone in for routine service, and every experience with Fields Auto Group has been first class. Whatever you're driving, see Fields and step up to luxury for less. Check out their locations around Jacksonville. Just visit fieldsauto.com.
Just be positive. Just be a happy homeowner. With a Community First Mortgage Champions, you'll know you're getting the best deal and a great experience. You'll get a super rate, close in as little as 30 days, save about $3,000 in closing costs, and enjoy championship service at every step. So you're as happy buying your home as the day you move in. Well, almost. Apply or learn more at communityfirstfl.org. Community First Credit Union. Just be yourself. Federally insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Lender.
Many of us have been fortunate to have someone along the way take an interest in our career or another aspect of our life. To a small business owner, it is important to have an objective voice to provide advice or guidance to help identify customers, answer a legal question, or review finances. As the nation's premier organization supporting small businesses, SCORE is always looking for people willing to offer their time and expertise to mentor current or aspiring entrepreneurs. If you're interested in joining our team, go to the volunteer tab at jacksonville.score.org and start sharing your knowledge today.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
And with Wendy's new Ghost Pepper Ranch sauce, you'll reach new levels of spicy. So you're probably thinking, where's the closest Wendy's? Get the only 6-piece spicy nuggets worthy of their name for free with purchase in the Wendy's app.
Limited time only. Participating U.S. Wendy's. Offer must be redeemed via the Wendy's app. Download and account registration required. Not valid with other offers. See offer and app for additional terms.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Breaking news. Jaguars rookie running back Travis Etienne will miss the entire 2021 NFL season after being placed on injured reserve. He'll undergo surgery for a Lisfranc injury. There's a big opportunity for Patriots rookie Mac Jones in quarterback Cam Newton's absence this week. That today from Coach Bill Belichick. Jones, for the second straight day, took top reps at practice. Newton remains away from the team facility until Thursday because of a COVID protocol misunderstanding. The team will be looking at a couple of things this week when it comes to Jones, explains ESPN's Mina Kimes.
How does he look with the ones? How does he look against the Giants starters on the defensive line? If he passes this test, and he's passed every test that's been put in front of him so far, he has a real chance to overtake Cam Newton.
Mina Kimes, the ACC, Big Ten, and Pac-12 announcing an alliance to work together on items like football scheduling and college sports governance. This move comes less than a month after the SEC invited both Texas and Oklahoma to join that league.
What? Just 15 seconds to talk about Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea? That smooth taste of real brewed iced tea with just the right kick of alcohol? What? We started already? Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea. Look for it in the bright yellow cans. Twisted Tea Brewing Company, Cincinnati, Ohio. Please drink responsibly.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios.
This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 with Brent Martineau and Austin Lane.
Didn't look like it, but we did. Just got to keep swinging, man. We're going to swing. I just told them I'm looking for fighters and I'm looking for competitors. We will have a locker room full of competitors, and I think we got a bunch of them. But I'm learning a lot about them, like they're learning a lot about us. A young guy like Tavon, he's actually not that young anymore, but Tavon Austin, I mean, I just love that guy. I mean, he's Energizer Bunny for me. He's a guy, and I'm just looking for that. I'm looking for guys that show that spark, show that energy.
That's Urban Meyer, who really didn't sound too energetic after yesterday's loss in New Orleans on Monday Night Football. Jacksonville Jaguars lose 23-21. Again, worth noting, C.J. Beathard is playing well. Let's talk about the quarterbacks here, and then we're going to have Dr. Osborne from the Center for Health and Sports Medicine join us in just a bit about the Lisfranc injury and see what this could mean for Travis Etienne, how devastating it might be for the Jags. Brent Martineau, Austin Lane, we're at J-Tech Institute. Come on by, get a tour. Sign up for classes, find out all that information, jtech.org. You can do so many different things here. I was just talking to some of the students who really put in a day. The one gentleman I just talked to, he's grabbing a bite to eat because he just came from work 7 to 3:30. Then he's going to go to class 6 to 10 o'clock tonight,
Hustling,
Monday through Thursday, man. That's the way to work. Absolutely. So jtech.org for more information on how you can get involved here at J-Tech Institute. Quarterback play. Let's start with Trevor Lawrence. What's your takeaway on Trevor so far? From all the hype to the number one pick to the way others are playing around the league. We'll do our rookie report card tomorrow. But are you seeing enough to be like, one, tomorrow Urban Meyer should name him the starter for Houston, and two, with everything going on, 42% pressure rate, backup offensive lineman, now injury to Etienne, not really trying to run the ball, or at least not running the ball effectively. Mm-hmm. Is he doing enough good to give you confidence?
Yeah, I mean, I still think he's your best option, obviously, on this offense right now is Trevor Lawrence. I think he was the best option once you drafted him number one overall. I think from the play of Trevor Lawrence, and keep in mind, this goes hand in hand with offensive line play, especially in New Orleans. I think he's shown some glimpses. I think he showed a lot of good. But there's been a couple throws, too, where it's like, that wasn't the best. You know, I think, and I remember I specifically said this, where we have to be careful just of how high of a pedestal you put this guy on, especially in the preseason, because there are going to be some lumps, and there will be some lumps during the regular season as well. The most important thing is how much good can you see and how much hope can you have. I've seen some good throws. I've seen some good decisions, but I haven't seen that wow touchdown yet. Let's be honest. You know, we've seen some decent drives, but we haven't been in the end zone with Trevor Lawrence. So it's hard to be fully excited, to be 100% optimistic when you haven't seen those things.
Yeah, I think we've seen some. Again, last week it was like 2 plays, right? It was some nice throws. Yeah. I think again the rollout through the end zone and the end zone, just to make that throw and deliver with some pressure in his face. I don't think that was intended to happen so quickly, the pressure in his face, but he got it out of there. He was rolling to his left. Then he later makes a play where it's a nice play by the DB. I think it was Dorsett or Cooper in the end zone, that if he threw a little bit like a football longer, it's a touchdown. Sure. That one he was rolling out to his left, too. He just barely underthrew it. Mm-hmm. And so you had a couple of rollouts to the left where it was like, okay, that's really good. And then, man, if he just threw a little more air under it, it's probably a touchdown. And we're probably raving about a play like that today. Mm-hmm. The legs, really good. He said that. Yes, he said, I wanted to. In his evaluation of what he did, he said, I wanted to use my legs a little bit more. Well, he did, both on the rollouts and also on the scramble play on third down. He said he wanted to get rid of the ball quicker, and he said even though he could still get rid of it quicker, he thought he did a better job of it. So, yeah, I think overall we're seeing enough good stuff. He can really throw it. We know that. We've seen it on the practice field. He's not shy to throw it.
And he probably should have had an interception.
He probably should have had an interception, and that was one he probably shouldn't have thrown, right?
Yeah.
It's funny that he said I should check down to some of these just 5-yard plays sometimes instead of trying to push downfield, because I thought in the first 3 or 4 series, Austin, I referenced it on Twitter. I said, this feels like the Gabbert days when you were playing, and they're playing in like a 10 to 15-yard box. It's like just give somebody a one-on-one ball down the field and see if something happens. Everything's just like 6 yards, 8 yards, 4 yards. At line of scrimmage plays. I mean, I guess that's because they were trying to get first downs and in tempo, but give us a shot down the field in those first few series. We didn't see that.
Yeah, and listen, this is the sport of comparisons. And when you see a guy like Mac Jones, who obviously Patriots fans right now are super excited for Mac Jones, because in 2 games, what have you seen Mac Jones do? You've seen Mac Jones call audibles. You've seen Mac Jones check on the line of scrimmage to slide the protection. And in the last game, you've seen Mac Jones lead no-huddle drives for scoring drives. So you've seen a lot from Mac Jones in terms of what you can bring to the table as a quarterback. We've seen a little bit of Trevor Lawrence, but nothing that's going to be over the top like maybe a Mac Jones or Justin Fields right now. Yeah. And in terms of the comparison game, I think right now in terms of the race, they're out ahead of Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, we've seen wow plays on the practice field from Trevor, yet to see it translate into a game. And again, I think it's worth noting how much of that is the problem of the offensive line, everything around him, the vanilla play calling, if that is it, or how much is him. And I'm not taking blame against. I'm not giving him excuses. It hasn't been bad, which is good.
Yeah.
He actually has been maybe at times a bright spot on an offense that's looked pretty horrendous so far through the first couple of games.
This is true.
I guess that's what you got going for you, because that's the guy. And like you said at the start of this, and we've been saying, and we're not ignorant to this, there are going to be some ups and downs for Trevor during the course of this year. All the rookies that you mentioned, there'll be the ups and downs. When do they come? But it wouldn't be bad to see another play or 2 made by Trevor that gets you really excited. Because right now, like I said, in that 2-minute drill, at least they got moving the ball. I just pleaded with the Jags and Bevel and everybody, give the fans something to grab onto before you go to the locker room and you don't see Trevor again for another week, and then the regular season's 3 weeks away. Because right now this fan base doesn't have a lot to hang on to and be like, well, I saw that, so I'm going to anticipate that against Houston on September 12th. As for the other guys, C.J. Beathard has outplayed just about everybody. Now he's working against 3s and 4s and others, but he's getting the job done. Where's Gardner Minshew and C.J. Beathard on the depth chart? Because, again, I believe tomorrow we get the nod on Trevor Lawrence being named the starting quarterback. I think that's when it's going to happen. I don't know that. I think that's what's going to happen tomorrow with Urban Meyer, especially since this whole fan base and city could use a dash of good news coming off today in Travis Etienne. It would be good timing. Go steal it from the Yankees playbook. Bad press, bounce back with some good press.
There you go.
But where's Gardner Minshew now all of a sudden? And what does it mean for C.J. Beathard?
I repeat myself over and over again, all right? I don't care what Beathard looks like in practice. I really don't. In the games, the guy is a gamer right now, and he's firing on all cylinders. 9 for 14 last night, 121 yards, and 2 touchdowns. In my opinion right now, from what I've seen in the preseason, that's your backup quarterback. All right? I don't know what the plan is going to be. I don't know if they're going to keep 3 guys or not, but he's obviously vying for that backup role, and I think right now he's winning. I'll be honest, in terms of Gardner Minshew's play, I don't know how much you can actually get for him at this point. So I don't know if you do keep 3 quarterbacks. But I think, in terms of the competition right now, you have to at least take a long, hard look against the Cowboys and maybe have C.J. Beathard get some reps with the 2s. Maybe even depending on what you do with Trevor, maybe with the 1s even, because I think he's earned that right now in these games to at least be in talks of being the backup quarterback.
Yeah, I want to talk more about Minshew specifically, but you're right, Beathard has earned us, if you're keeping score, and that's what they say they're doing, and we're all watching, C.J. Beathard has earned him a spot as that backup guy right now. It certainly would appear. You can make the case he's played better than any quarterback on the roster, although under different circumstances, and we all know what's going on with Trevor Lawrence as the number 1 overall pick. Brent Martineau, Austin Lane. Let's welcome in right now Dr. Ross Osborne. He is going to help us figure out what's going on with Travis Etienne, who is on IR, out for the year with a Liz Frank injury. Dr. Ross Osborne from the Center for Health and Sports Medicine. Doc, thanks for joining us, and unfortunately, sometimes we need to lean on the experts in a not-so-great time here in Jacksonville. The first-round draft pick out for the year, running back from Clemson. We hate that word Liz Frank when it comes to running backs, especially in football.
Yeah, absolutely. Liz Frank's not a good word in any sport ever, with regards to the foot, but definitely a bummer. It's they're a bad injury. As severe as it sounds like it is, hopefully it only ruins his season and he'll be back next year.
Well, and Doc, and you mentioned it here, only ruins his season and he'll be back. In terms of the grand scheme of things, we always heard the horror stories of once you sustain this injury, once you have surgery, you're never the same player again. Obviously, Travis Etienne, he is on the young side. He's got youth on his side. But what are the percentages of saying, all right, is this going to hamper him for the rest of his playing career? Or is this surgery with technology now, is it going to put him at 100% when he returns?
Yeah, it's hard to say. So one of the most frustrating things I think for doctors about Liz Frank injuries is the great deal of unpredictability of them. So if you had even minor Liz Frank injuries, sometimes you think they're going to be 6 to 8 weeks in a boot and then out again, and 8 weeks later they still can't walk on it. When they're more severe like that, then you do start worrying about, longer-term consequences. And there's some great in Jacksonville, there's some superb surgeons that certainly could handle an injury like this and do a great job with it, probably as well as anybody, in the country. But that still doesn't mean that you may not, have a bad outcome just because it's a nasty injury. So it's really hard to predict them. He's going to be in as good a hands as he can be, having the best shot at getting back.
Yeah, Dr. Ross Osborne with us from the Center for Health and Sports Medicine. Austin, he had the Liz Frank. I like you're saying Liz Frank. I'm going to call it the way you say it.
I'll keep on saying Liz Frank because I'm so frustrated with it. So
he had it and then came back in the season with the Jags and played after it.
Sparingly.
I think, 7 weeks?
Yeah,
7 weeks out.
Yeah.
Now, I talked to Maurice Jones-Drew today, Doc, and he said he came back as well, but he wishes he had the surgery and then stayed out so he was better when he came all the way back. We've seen Corey Grant, another Jags running back. Basically, his career was spoiled due to the Liz Frank injury. So do you like the fact that at least I don't hate to say you would advise because it's not like you're talking directly to the patient and Etienne at this point, but do you like overall someone that will sit there and rest it and surgically repair it and give it the time and then come back rather than try to rush back?
Yeah, again, just because it's unpredictable. So I guess, just as a background, the reason the Liz Franks are so bad is it's kind of the keystone to the foot. And so that the loss of that joint can cause the whole foot to collapse, basically. And obviously, in anybody, let alone a high-level professional athlete. Having a foot collapse isn't a good thing to just live life. But then if you're talking about, trying to run as fast as you can from really big guys who want to take your head off, you really need that foot to work well. And so I think, on the scale of injuries, it's probably one you're going to be a lot more conservative with. I certainly would be. And I don't do the surgery, but I see, people at different levels. And I just tell them, hey, you need to be very patient with this injury. And it's frustrating telling somebody, especially a professional athlete that has got high stakes on the line, a particular injury. If you're not and you try to rush it back, you may do yourself enough damage that then, again, instead of losing a season, you may lose a career out of it.
Dr. Ross Osborne, Center for Health and Sports Medicine, with us in Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. All right, one more thing. We appreciate your expertise on this. I know it's an unpredictable injury. Is it just one of those things that happens, playing sports? Is there sometimes something that kind of led to it? Is that unpredictable as well?
Well, we have mechanisms of injury that certainly give it a higher chance of happening. So, for instance, the kind of, the thing we learn about in school and training is somebody with a foot that's kind of planted, they're starting to push off, and then somebody steps on top of it. Or, for instance, somebody whose foot is planted, they're starting to take off, and somebody jumps on their back, so they get a really high, quick load right on the ball of the foot. But we've got cases where people are simply taking off in a sprint and sprain that ligament. So, but the normal mechanism to hurt it is where you have a high load placed on that joint and then have an additional kind of force placed on it when it's already under a load, and then the foot just, doesn't have enough strength and it gives way.
If you're experiencing any injuries, have rehab, need to see anyone in the sports medicine field, go give Dr. Ross Osborne a visit, jacksfamilysportsmed.com on the website. Dr. Osborne, appreciate the time. Thanks for the insight on it.
Hey, yeah, thanks, guys. Have a great day.
You too. That's Dr. Ross Osborne, Center for Health and Sports Medicine, with us talking Travis Etienne injury. Real quick, one other thing on Etienne. Seriously, Casey, you play a lot of fantasy. I know you promoted your league. Where would Etienne have gone in fantasy football this year? We talked a little bit about this. Like, he might be the highest guy for the Jags.
Yeah.
There's a lot of upside to him, a lot of unknown to what it would have been. Will this throw some fantasy teams and drafts into, at least look a little different now?
Go ahead, Casey.
Yeah, I mean, I've been in a couple ESPN just 12-team leagues, like the standard, I guess you could say. And he was going above James Robinson, above not any really other starting running backs, like high ceiling guys, but he was definitely being picked well above James Robinson by a solid round. So if you've already done that, sorry. But this will change the James Robinson outlook because you saw what he did last year. You keep saying Urban Meyer wants to run the ball. James Robinson immediately becomes someone you look at in the second or third round now that Etienne won't be taking the carries. Obviously, Carlos Hyde is there, and now there's value to draft Carlos Hyde later in drafts. But this is a game changer for if you already have James Robinson, or if you haven't drafted yet, James Robinson becomes a priority because you don't have to worry about Etienne.
Well, now, and then also just from, a scheme standpoint, it begs the question, you lose your dynamic third down back in Travis Etienne. Does Carlos Hyde fill that role now as a third down back? Do you go with Ogunbowale? Do you go with a Zigbo? Or do you go someplace else? Do you wait for the waiver wire? Do you try to make a trade? Because, I think in terms of being dynamic, yes, James Robinson is a fantastic running back in his own right. But, in terms of that third down back as a receiving threat, he did show some signs of that last year. But do you trust him, play in and play out? Probably not, because you're going to want to spell him a little bit. Can Carlos Hyde come in and be that third down back, or do you go in a different direction?
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do there. And I don't know if I love Carlos Hyde. I know people are a little frustrated with Carlos Hyde. It should be frustrated with a running game. I didn't see the Saints run or try to run that much. I feel like Cleveland was similar too. How much are teams trying to run the ball and really establish it like they will in the regular season? I think there's a little bit of that going on in preseason football. You're going to experiment more with the pass, most likely, I think, just by rule. But who knows? And so listen, Azigbo and Ogunbowale, they're capable guys. They're not capable of changing the offense like Etienne. I think the Jags will be able to run the football, because I think James Robinson, to your point, Casey, is going to get a lot more of the load now. So this was probably the most drafted Jags player in fantasy football, what Travis Etienne would be. You could make the case it's some other guys, right? Marvin Jones, DJ Chark,
for sure, yeah.
Trevor Lawrence, Josh Lambo. But I think he was certainly up there to be maybe the most drafted guy, and now he's off the board. But I think what Casey said is probably true for you fantasy football folks, that the drafts are all coming up. James Robinson now will get a heavier workload. They're going to have to run the ball more, and James Robinson is the guy.
So then do you think, is Carlos Hyde the third down back going forward, or what do they do with that? Because I feel like you need to have a receiving threat as a running back.
Yeah, I don't know. They used Zigbo a little bit in that role yesterday. He had the screen pass and, went for a pretty good gain with Minshew. I just don't have another guy like Etienne, and I don't really think Hyde's a third down back. I think Hyde's part of that first down, second down kind of get off, run right through the line of scrimmage guy.
Well, and that's the thing. I'm not even saying you need a Travis Etienne. I'm saying, do you have a change of pace guy?
Yeah, I don't think you do. I don't know if you do. Maybe a Zigbo gives you a little bit of that, but I don't think in the sense that you're talking about. I don't think the Jags really have a lot. Now, Robinson caught a lot of passes out of the backfield last year too, but he's not your prototypical third down back. Just to finish off the Minshew and Beathard conversation, you brought up all the different scenarios with Minshew. All the reps that he's received, the chance to win the job, even though we don't think he would have ever won it, the chance to be showcased a little bit. If he doesn't throw the interception last night, are we talking about Minshew in a different way? Because his numbers weren't bad. I mean, it was like, let's just say he throws a touchdown instead, right? It's 14-21 instead of 13-21, 150 yards and a touchdown instead of a pick. Mm-hmm. Is that the one play that's kind of changed everything, or is it just the overall play and what it looks like right now from Minshew?
Combination of both. Obviously, the interception sticks out to you, especially when you have the ball in your opponent's red zone. You cannot turn the ball over there, so that sticks out. But also just overall of what it looked like. It didn't really leave you any kind of hope. There was a couple of throws here or there, but overall, just we've seen it before, Brent. We've seen what he can bring to the table before, and if you throw him in this offense right now, if he was to come in for Trevor Lawrence, knock on wood, hopefully that never happens, but if he was to come in, maybe he can win you one or two games, but you get the feeling from a medium to a long-term fix, it's not going to look good.
No, we're talking – the Jags have short-term backup quarterbacks right now in terms of being able to win a couple games. I mean, C.J. Beathard has 2 wins in his career.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Certainly has looked more decisive with the football, ability to get rid of it, knows where it's going, throw it with some confidence. Minshew still holds on to that thing, runs around a little bit, is afraid to kind of throw it down the field. You know what sticks out maybe more than the interception is the underthrown ball down the field. And so now he's thrown 2 passes, kind of similar throws. One was like a Hail Mary throw, though, at the end of the half against Cleveland.
Yes.
Came up like disgustingly short, right?
Yep.
And then this one, about midfield, I forget who he had breaking free, but if he leads them, it might be like an 80-yard touchdown. Was that Cooper? It might have been 14.
Yeah.
So, but that's the play.
Like,
you feel like, and you can't underthrow it by like 3 yards.
Yeah.
It's not like it was just slightly underthrown, kind of like Trevor's was in the end zone, on the rollout left. I mean, I was really underthrown, so he's just not connecting on those kind of plays to give himself a chance or to give the Jags a chance to maybe trade him away, get him out of here. I still have a hard time believing Gardner Minshew just flat out gets cut.
What do you think it looks like now coming up against the Cowboys in terms of the reps?
Yeah, it's debatable. I got to think.
Keep in mind, it's a short week as well.
It's a short week. Depending on your offensive line play, are you willing to put Trevor back there? I think Trevor needs work. I don't think you can go to the offense, the regular season, and come off these 2 performances and say, okay, yeah, we're good. I just don't think so. I don't care about the backup quarterback spot. I care about their first-team offense finding some semblance of a rhythm. I don't care if they throw the practice squad guys out there for Dallas. I'm playing probably Trevor Lawrence. Now, I don't need the whole into the third quarter stuff. I need something to feel good about. If I'm Trevor, if I'm the offense, if I'm the coaching staff, if I'm the fan base. And so I'm playing Trevor Lawrence and those guys on Sunday against the Dallas Cowboys for at least a little bit. And then it will be Minshew and Beathard the rest of the way. And you got to wonder if Beathard will get the chance before Minshew now. I'd consider that because he's earned it.
Yeah.
He's earned a chance for that. We'll be back. Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. We're live from the J-Tech Institute here on ESPN 690.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Partly sunny and hot again today with temperatures in the low 90s, yet more midday showers and storms into this afternoon. Shower early tonight, then partly cloudy, low 73. Or partly sunny Wednesday, a few storms, high 89 degrees. A sea breeze tracks inland, especially tomorrow afternoon and evening, into Thursday as well, keeping that threat for rain around. From the Action News Jax First Alert Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Corey Sima.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beard's Diamonds, where for a limited time, get 0% financing for 5 years, only at Beard's Diamonds.
O'Reilly. Do you even remember the last time you changed your spark plugs? Well, then now's a good time. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts and get a $15 gift card after mail-in rebate when you purchase 4 or more select Iridium spark plugs. Put the pep back in your car. Visit your local O'Reilly Auto Parts store or shop O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts. Spicy chicken nugs. We didn't say Wendy's, but you probably thought Wendy's, and you thought right. With a unique blend of spices, these are the spicy nugs that other spicy nugs wish they were. And with Wendy's new Ghost Pepper Ranch sauce, you'll reach new levels of spicy. So you're probably thinking, where's the closest Wendy's? Get the only 6-piece spicy nuggets worthy of their name for free with purchase in the Wendy's app.
Limited time only. Participating U.S. Wendy's. Offer must be redeemed via the Wendy's app. App download and account registration required. Not valid with other offers. See offer and app for additional terms.
At Tire Outlet, we're committed to providing our customers with professional and honest automotive recommendations. Don't believe us? Check out our reviews online and see why we're Jacksonville's preferred automotive shop.
Great guys to work with, always very helpful and affordable.
With 12 locations across Northeast Florida, Tire Outlet can help keep you and your family safe on the road, wherever you are.
Wholesale prices, premium service, Tire Outlet.
Hey, do you owe more than $25K on your car, a truck, or that toy in the driveway? Refinance your auto loan with One-to-One Financial. We'll not only lower your payments, but we'll put $200 cash in your pocket. Plus, we have the lowest loan rates in town. Make some room in your budget and put more cash in your pocket. When you refinance with One-to-One Financial, Jacksonville's hometown credit union. Apply today at 121fcu.org. Federally insured by NCUA.
Temperatures keep climbing, and hotter weather means your body needs more water. Stay hydrated. CGC Water Treatment wants to make sure the water you and your family drink is cleaner, healthier, and tastes great. It starts with the Connecticut system, proudly made in America and installed by the pros CGC Water. Not sure about your water? Call CGC. They'll analyze your water for free. I haven't had to worry about my water since I got mine installed because Connecticut systems remove up to 99% of the contaminants. If you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Connecticut makes the world's most efficient softeners, non-electric twin tanks that use less salt and water during regeneration. Save up to $500 on select softener and RO systems this month. Financing available with approved credit. Call CGC Water at 904-552-1242. Call and ask about Conway Club, the new service program that will save you money on salt, filters, delivery, parts, and labor. Tell them Brent sent you and find out all the details and all the great ways you can save. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com, your local independent Connecticut dealer.
Anyone can talk like they're a big dog, but few actually walk the talk. We're not the only plumbing company claiming same-day water heater service. In fact, a lot of customers have called us after other companies failed to come through on their same-day service talk. Fortunately, Griffin Service delivers. We eat big dogs for lunch. And we fix what others can't. Some of that's knowing the science, engineering, and craft of AC and plumbing better than the Bubbas, but it's also better planning. The key to actually doing same-day water heater replacement is having water heaters in stock and ready to go. And that's what we do. Gas, electric, tank, tankless, we got them all in stock and ready to roll for you. So if you want to avoid the bait-and-switch turd bucket tactics of the Bubbas, or if you discover you're in the middle of an all-talk, no-walk situation with a wannabe, well, you know who to call, right?
Griffin
griffinservice.com.
CMC 1250-697.
Currently, Encore Borland Groover Clinical Research, EBGCR, has a new clinical trial with Dr. Pino and Dr. Annie Lancani of Borland Groover for patients diagnosed with eosinophilic disease or individuals experiencing weekly unresolved chronic IBS with symptoms including bloating, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, cramping, abdominal pain, and other persistent GI concerns. Studies are currently ongoing across Jacksonville and St. Augustine, and you may be eligible to participate in a clinical study. To learn more, call 904-680-0871 or ebgcr.com/contact.
It's the national sales event at Arlington Toyota. Come shop over 700 new Toyotas and choose your way to save. Get interest rates as low as 0% on over 10 new Toyota models or enjoy no payments until 2022. Plus, with Arlington's 30-day exchange program, you get 30 days to love your new purchase or exchange it. And with every new car purchase, you get a lifetime warranty with unlimited time and miles. Why wait? Shop the national sales event at arlingtontoyota.com today. Visit arlingtontoyota.com/August for full detail.
Tired of dusting, cleaning the house? I call Actual Cleaning. They're professional, reliable, and affordable at $40 an hour. Experts you can trust.
Book now. Actualcleaning.com.
Book 4 cleanings and get the 5th one free.
ESPN 690 is home for the Florida Sportsman Fishing Show hosted by Captain Rick Riles. Tune in every Saturday morning from 7 to 9 a.m. to find out what's biting now. Fishing so fresh, you can almost smell it.
Hey, it's Brett Martineau from Action Sports Jacks. Did you know you can watch our radio show? Yeah, video of a radio show. Just search ESPN 690 Jacks on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Or follow me on Twitter at Brent A.S. Jacks. Watch the show live weekdays from 3 p.m. until 6 p.m. or listen on ESPN 690.
I think I'm real pleased with Walker Little. I think he's got a great future in the NFL. Great guy that works. His first game, his hands were extremely low, and he worked very hard on it all week in practice. But I'll have more for you next week after we watch the film. But we just didn't run the New Orleans Saints defensive line controlled the line of scrimmage.
That is Urban Meyer talking a little bit about Walker Little, and he wasn't good. Nobody was, seemingly, on the offensive line. And, I don't think maybe that helps Cam Robinson, right? I mean, let's see if Cam Robinson's going to be healthy. That happened a couple of days ago, I think, in practice. All of a sudden, bam, ankle injury, and he's not going. But the fan base is like, Walker Little, Walker Little, Walker Little. Heck, I think the media has been Walker Little, Walker Little, Walker Little.
Yeah.
And I think with these 2 preseason games, to your point off the top of the show, is, hey, hold the phone a little bit, all right? Cam Robinson's been playing this league for 5 years now, and Walker Little hasn't played football in a couple of years. There are plenty of signs that show Walker Little's going to be a pretty good football player. But we've seen it too many times. Translation to games, but even translation to the regular season is a totally different thing. So I think this is Cam Robinson's job, and I think the Jags probably going to feel comfortable when Cam Robinson, Andrew Norwell, Brandon Linder get back, because that looked uncomfortable last night.
Yeah. I mean, and once again, the preseason overreaction, everyone goes through it, all right? We're not the only ones. And yes, Walker Little looked fantastic in one-on-ones, and he's given an extra little shove there to Caleb Chase on. And, yeah, I said I would have fought Walker Little. I don't even know the guy, but the extracurricular stuff, yeah, it would make me upset, and I get all that. But it's different to go from practice on a couple one-on-ones to a game setting with live rounds. And that's what Walker Little is going through right now. And people that were calling from him to be the starter week 1 against Houston, you're going to start a guy who hasn't played in any meaningful football games in, 2 years now at Stanford? Come on now, all right? He's young. He's going to get better, obviously. Hopefully he's going to get coached right. But to expect that guy to go in right away day 1 against Houston and to be a bona fide starter, it rarely works that way in the NFL.
Let's go super concerned list, okay? Some of this has to be couched with it's the preseason, okay? That's fair. Some of it's guys are running in and out. I mean, I looked up there yesterday, and I don't know if it was like the 4th series or whatever, but it's Jamal Agnew at wide receiver, or it's Philip Dorsett at wide receiver. It's not Marvin Jones and DJ Chark. Now, LaVisca played quite a bit. And you got 3 offensive linemen missing. again, I can make a little bit of that, say, hey, it's the preseason. The problem with doing that is the Jags didn't give us a lot to latch onto. Right?
Yeah,
There's really
nothing.
just not a lot to latch onto.
Yeah.
And so it is what it is. It's what we have. It doesn't look, to your point, a lot better than it was even a year ago. So what's changing other than Trevor Lawrence, which certainly is going to be better over time? We're all confident in that. That's the one thing we can all agree on. We like Trevor Lawrence. We think he's going to continue to grow. At the end of the day, he's going to be a really good quarterback, we think, in this league. I don't think anybody's wavered from that. But at the top of the list of concern, what is it for you? Is it the offensive line, even though there were 3 backups in there yesterday?
Brent, I mean, the list of concern is so long. I can't just pick one thing. I'm sorry. I feel
pick
like I'm
3.
Well, I feel like I'm at like at all you can eat buffet at the Golden Corral right now, where I can't just select 3 things. I want the steak. I want the meatloaf. I'm gonna have the ribs too, and going to be some boiled chicken while we're at it, because that's where we're at right now. And if you want to start,
this is a little bit more like picking liver and onions, okay?
Okay, that's a good point. Yeah, it's nothing really.
The way
appetizing.
this has gone so far,
it's nothing really.
This is more liver and onions than ribeye.
Nothing really appetizing right now. For me, I play on the defensive side of the ball. The defense stands out to me a lot. Let's be honest right now. And I get not everybody played. Josh Allen was out. Okay. But you let a guy in Marquez Callaway, we don't really know where he came from. Let's be honest. I think he's undrafted. I did a little research out to Wikipedia. Undrafted, 5 receptions, 104 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Now, yes, they were nice passes. Yes, Jameis Winston brought his A game. But let's be honest. In terms of Marquez Callaway, would he even crack the top 3 right now in this Jaguars receiving core?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. Would Lil Jordan Humphrey, which sounds like a made-up name, by the way, but will Lil Jordan Humphrey crack the top 3 right now in this Jaguars receiving core, next to Marvin Jones, next to DJ Chark, next to LaVisca Chenault? Probably not.
No, it's probably getting burned by Colin Johnson and Farrell Cooper.
Exactly. But they had the games of their lives, it seemed like, last night. Right? Against the ones, against, guys like, Shaq Griffin, against guys like Tyson Campbell, against the secondary who was pretty much all intact, against the defensive line who had a bunch of their starters. There's so much blame to go around here, and I get it. It's a new defense, so it's going to take some time to adjust. But when you're talking about going man coverage, because Joe Cullen's going to blitz, make no ands, ifs, buts about it. He's going to stop the run, and he's going to blitz. You have to be able to trust your secondary in the back end. And last night, I felt like some of that trust was lost a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, they have to, right? They're going to play man like that. And I mean, how concerning. Shaq Griffin has not looked great in the first couple of weeks. That's a $40 million investment and hasn't looked that good. The rest of the secondary didn't look good. I mean, simple plays, right? Just simple in routes from 12 yards. Boom, easy.
Yeah.
Right off the rip. Not just against Shaq, but against Shaq, first play of the game. Then on the other side of the field, Sidney Jones got lost in coverage, who's, by the way, I think he's had a really nice camp, but didn't play well last night in the time that he got. Tyson Campbell shown some very young and uh-oh-y kind of moments. C.J. Henderson did nothing to flash last night at all. I don't know why Rudy Ford's playing as much as he is in the back end, but he is, and that's a little less about coverage right now. So they're very simplistic plays where the Jags are just getting beat. You bring up Baltimore and the fundamentals of the game. Mm-hmm. I mean, these are like practice kind of backyardy plays that last night New Orleans ran, the other day Case Keenum and Cleveland ran, and the Jags can't stop them. Listen, sometimes you're going to lose that battle. It's a simple play. You get a step, the quarterback puts it in a good spot. I mean, the 2 catches, actually Shaq Griffin had pretty good coverage down the field on the one-handed touchdown. But it still was like a 3rd, 4th receiver beating him. It was a beautiful play. So that's going to happen. But it's not like they made a play earlier to stop it. I can't remember a play the defense made, the secondary made.
Well, then the other long touchdown was essentially you had the safety over the top, and both guys were. Tyson Campbell gets turned around. Yeah. Safety's not there to help him out.
Shaq got beat on that one.
Yeah, exactly. And it did not look good. And once again, if you have guys who, with all due respect to Callaway, with all due respect to Lil Jordan Humphrey, but if you have guys I don't really know a lot about, then what is Brandon Cooks going to do to this defense? What is Chris Conley going to do to this defense? It's just it is what it is. You're going to play man defense because in terms of identity, we talk about the offensive. We don't know what they are right now. We know what this defense is trying to be. All right, you're trying to be like the Baltimore Ravens. You're trying to blitz, and then you're going to try to play man coverage. Like that's what it is. That's how a lot of 3-4 defenses are set up. it just begs the question of how confident are you right now if you have C.J. Henderson, if you have Tyson Campbell, if you have Shaq Griffin on man coverage against, one receivers, how confident are you in this defense of shutting them down and getting home to the quarterback?
Yeah, not so much. And getting home to the quarterback's been tough. Everybody wants to get rid of the ball quick, obviously, in the NFL right now, but still, there's Jihad Ward had a sack, right? Smoot had a coverage sack. That was actually a good cover. That was the best thing I could say about the secondary, that sack.
Well, now, keep in mind, Taysom Hill doing the offense no favors.
True.
By the way.
But by the way, if you think you're frustrated around here in Jacksonville, like everybody's been frustrated with the lack of naming Trevor Lawrence, well, last night after that performance, they still wouldn't name Jameis Winston. Sean Payton's like, I have to look at the tape. Look at the tape.
Sean Payton, yeah.
Everybody in America could tell you.
Sean, were you present? Were you present for the game, sir?
I mean, yeah, that's.
But
by the way, Jameis looked pretty good. I mean, he was on point.
Jameis looked good, looked confident. Taysom Hill not so much, and I was really surprised. Like, you can tell that Taysom Hill is trying to be the prototypical quarterback, like not trying to use his legs, trying to stand back there and deliver the strike. He just did not look good. And once again, it was really the saving grace for this Jaguars defense to at least build maybe a little bit of confidence.
Yeah.
Because if Jameis is out there for a half or 3 quarters, man,
it looked pretty unstoppable while they were out there.
Yeah.
And then they shot themselves in the foot the one time with the 2 penalties at 3rd and 1, and then it was a false start. Yeah. And then Taysom Hill came in, and they really couldn't do that much. But again, it's like you can't even look at the second half and try to pull stuff. I'm a sunshine and rainbowy kind of guy, and I can't sit there and pull second half stuff. It's just not worth it. That's not how it plays out in the regular season.
And if you want to be all, because you're Mr. Positivity. I mean, held the Saints as 63 yards rushing.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day,
their run defense has been good.
Yeah, but you got the sense of the Saints what they wanted to do. Yeah. It was an open quarterback competition between Taysom Hill and Jameis Winston, and they wanted to sling the rock and see who the better man was going to be. And obviously, it was Jameis Winston.
Again, I think that's a preseason thing. You're watching. I don't think you're seeing teams run for 150 yards in the preseason.
Very rarely, unless it was like an open, running back competition in terms of your starters.
I just don't think they try that
rare.
much to do it. But the Jags have done a good job. And they can't do anything on defense until they learn to stop the run after these last couple of years. So I guess that's one small good takeaway.
See, Brett, look at me. I'm being positive, man. It's Mr. Sunshine and Rainbows here.
Best player on the Jags roster right now. Don't say it. I got an answer for you. Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. We're live from J-Tech Institute. And after the shake the punt, you can't say Logan Cook. We'll be back on ESPN 690.
This is Action Sports Jacks.
I think I'm getting closer and closer to doing the anatomy of the screenplay. I mean, what the hell? I mean, why can't we run a screen in Jacksonville for 14 years since I've been here? 14 freaking years we can't run a screenplay. And then on defense, we can't stop the damn thing. They can't stop a screenplay. We can't run a screenplay. What is going on in Jacksonville? I mean, it's unbelievable. They run screenplays in high school.
SportsCenter update brought to you by Jacksonville Chrysler Jeep Dodge.
Anyone can talk like they're a big dog, but few actually walk the talk. We're not the only plumbing company claiming same-day water heater service. In fact, a lot of customers have called us after other companies failed to come through on their same-day service talk. Fortunately, Griffin Service delivers. We eat big dogs for lunch. And we fix what others can't. Some of that's knowing the science, engineering, and craft of AC and plumbing better than the Bubbas, but it's also better planning. The key to actually doing same-day water heater replacement is having water heaters in stock and ready to go. And that's what we do. Gas, electric, tank, tankless, we got them all in stock and ready to roll for you. So if you want to avoid the bait and switch turd bucket tactics of the Bubbas, or if you discover you're in the middle of an all talk, no walk situation with a wannabe, well, you know who to call, right?
GriffinService.com.
CMC 1250-697.
No matter what you're driving, you can step up to luxury now at any of Fields Auto Group's dealerships in Jacksonville. Cadillac, Jaguar, Land Rover, Lexus, Mercedes-Benz, and Porsche. Yes, it's luxury for less at all Fields Auto Group stores in Jacksonville. Plus, you'll also be part of their exclusive Fields Amenities program, where you will get complimentary loaners, car washes, and cafes. So whatever you're driving, see Fields and step up to luxury for less during this amazing opportunity. Visit FieldsAuto.com.
I love football and I love chicken wings. Hey, everybody, this is Brent Mortno. We are a lot alike, right? You love football and you love wings. Let's win the week with Extreme Wings Sports Grill. 4 locations in Jacksonville, Atlantic Boulevard, Ocean Way, 210 in St. Johns County, and the new location on Roosevelt Boulevard near NAS Jax, serving up the freshest, never frozen, world-famous extreme hot wings to Jacksonville since 1999. We like football. We like wings. We love a good deal. To celebrate the grand opening of the Extreme Wings Roosevelt location, get 6 wings, french fries, and a drink for just $12.99 at the Roosevelt location. 6 wings, french fries, and a drink, just $12.99. Active military gets special discounts. Jalapeno ranch, Caribbean jerk, spicy blue cheese, lemon pepper. So many flavors to choose from. And, of course, they can make them extreme if you want. Plenty of space at Extreme Wing Sports Grill locations. If you're looking for a place for the entire team, try Extreme Wing Sports Grill. I love it. You'll love it. 4 locations in Jacksonville, including Roosevelt Boulevard near NAS Jax.
Galaxy Builders, they're out of this world. Galaxy Builders, they're out of this world.
Attention residential roof repair technicians. Do you feel a lack of support from your boss or feel you're underpaid? If so, Galaxy Builders wants to interview you today. Galaxy Builders is hiring experienced roof repair technicians and offers a $5,000 signing bonus, 401k plan, and a fully outfitted company truck. Fill out the Contact Us form at galaxyfla.com to schedule an interview.
I'm Action News Jax's Phil Amato.
And I'm Letitia Barriola. Back to school means different things to different parents.
And that's why we met with local moms so they could tell us what's most important to them.
It's weather. I'm Action News Jax First Alert Meteorologist Garrett Biedenwald.
This is our storm season. My forecast gives parents a heads up on how to dress the kids.
And it's traffic. I'm traffic expert Maritza Ross, and I'll always show you the fastest way to get where you need to be.
So, go back to school.
With Action News Jax this morning.
At Tire Outlet, we're committed to providing our customers with professional and honest automotive recommendations. Don't believe us? Check out our reviews online and see why we're Jacksonville's preferred automotive shop.
Great guys to work with, always very helpful and affordable.
With 12 locations across Northeast Florida, Tire Outlet can help keep you and your family safe on the road, wherever you are.
Wholesale prices, premium service. Tire Outlet.
Summertime tips from Paul, Kristen, and Dexter at Total Wine and More.
Topping your burger with grilled onions and blue cheese? Take it to the next level with Carbon Cabernet Reserve, rated 92 points, an incredible value.
And nothing beats a buttery Chardonnay with grilled corn on the cob.
Feeling adventurous? Come on in. Let's try a smoky mezcal for mind-blowing margaritas.
Wondrous selection, expert guides, totally low prices. Order delivery in St. Augustine, Amelia Island, and surrounding areas at TotalWine.com. Drink responsibly, B21.
Hey, it's Brent Mortno from Action Sports Jax. Did you know you can watch our radio show? Yeah, video of a radio show. Just search ESPN 690 Jax on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, or follow me on Twitter at Brent A.S. Jax. Watch the show live weekdays from 3 p.m. until 6 p.m. or listen on ESPN 690.
Solid again, and I think we held them to 60 yards for the day, which is pretty solid. And then last week we played well in the run game. Where our defense is built to stop the run, we just got to make sure that we get the corners ready to start making plays in man coverage.
That is Urban Meyer, Jacksonville Jaguars head coach. It's been a rough start in the preseason. Does the preseason translate to the regular season? Well, we don't know, and this is all we have. And until September 12th, and the Jags look different, hopefully, this is what we got to go on, and that's it. So you can keep your fingers crossed on that. It's the only thing you can couch on anything that's happened. It's like, well, the real stuff starts in a couple of weeks.
Let me ask you this, though, and you can compare 2017 if you want, but does it make you nervous from the fact that this is Urban Meyer's first year? This is the regime's first year, and this is what we've seen so far. Like, to me, it would be different if these coaches were established. You kind of have an idea of what the plan is. Just, it's preseason, whatever.
Yeah.
Let them, okay. But this is kind of like your first audition, your first interview, if you will. Does that make you a little more nervous?
Well, it does in this sense. It makes me nervous a bit because he's doing things differently coming from the college game that you don't always see in the NFL. From winners and losers to a mic out there at practice to a hard camp to whatever it might be. There's an NFL way, there's a collegiate way, and I think that I agree with Urban where that's more than ever before. And, there was a good article, I think it was The Athletic, about, like, some of the stuff that Pete Carroll did. And people were like, what is he doing? Like, this is odd, And, well, it worked there. They won. So in the same sense as 2017, and, again, I'm not saying 17 is going to play out the Jags aren't good enough to play it out that way, okay? They were way more talented in 17. But in 2017, if the Jags did not beat Houston in week 1, there would have been a mutiny in the locker room. Like, they were just done with Marone and Coughlin and Camp and everything. But then they won. And winning, as you know, does everything. Now, they lost the next week, but then they came back and crushed Baltimore in week 3. So there was
I was in London, right?
Yeah, in London. Yeah. So there was this evidence like, okay, some of that stuff he's telling us, and, okay, it was worth it. We're winning. We're having fun. We're going to have a big season. We can make these plays, all that kind of stuff. So there's no evidence of that yet for Urban. That would be my concern. There's no evidence of that. And he's got a lot of buy-in from this roster, from veterans. But do they jump off if things don't go well in Houston? Things don't go well week 2, week 3. I think it's important to start well. I don't even know if that means actually winning, but it can't be atrociously losing. It can't be looking like this. So that's my one level of concern right now with what's going on, and you just don't know that answer. Listen, I don't know if that's the way it's going. What does that building do? What does that locker room do if they lose to Houston after this tough camp, all this stuff? And does Urban Meyer start losing some believers internally?
It's such a unique circumstance that this team finds themselves in right now with the week 1 game against Houston. They won 1 game last year. Okay? Now, history shows that if you win 1 game, it's going to take some time to turn things around, especially with a new regime, especially with new players. But we see what's transpired in Houston. And like, I know it, Brent. You know it. The players in that locker room know it. Like, Houston, we've been led to believe, is an absolute dumpster fire of what's transpired there in terms of who's their starting quarterback going to be. What's their coaching philosophy going to be? All this stuff. Well, now they're having a decent preseason. Let's not buy too much into it. But it is an important game week 1 because if you don't have a good showing and if it's not close and Houston goes out there at home and they curb stomp you, what is that there in the locker room going to be then? If we can't even – and I
can't happen.
And it's one game, yeah. But it goes to show you it's such an important game coming from a team that won 1 game last year in the Jacksonville Jaguars.
And I think it would be important anyway, Austin. But the answer to the question right now is, does some of this carry over? This is building more pressure toward that game. The fact that they haven't looked good so far, you could say it's just preseason, but it's building more anxiety toward that game. And I think you just wonder if the players will eventually feel it. Right now, the town feels it, right? Right now, we've seen the story before. We've got the scar tissue. Everybody's like, here we go. But you just said an important thing. The reality check of it all, even through all the positivity of the offseason, there was reason for positivity because Urban Meyer has won a lot in his life. Trevor Lawrence is really good and has won a lot in his life. But if we're being honest with ourselves, that wasn't all about 2021 going 12-5. That was more about this thing's going to go in the right direction. Well, going in the right direction was like 6 wins. Yeah. Okay? That's what most people think this is. Even me, who's very positive, says you might be able to get to 7. But that's a good year. Like, that's where this was. You were 1-15. So you got to keep that part of the reality there. This is not a very good football team and roster and everything else to begin with. But I think the question of, okay, has everything Urban Meyer's done, is it not working? Like, is it not paying off? Is it going to pay off? When do you see the payoff? I think that first game against Houston is going to be very important from a game planning situation, from a playing well situation, from a scoreboard situation. And internally, if that does not go well, it could be a shock to the system of Urban, to the locker room, to the building, and really delay this thing getting turned around in Jacksonville.
Without a doubt, and especially when you're a first-year coach and you're trying to win over that locker room, getting off to a good start, it can only help things. It's the ultimate remedy is when you win football games. We were celebrating when the schedule came out. We were celebrating in terms of the first quarter. The Jaguars, we talking the Texans, the Broncos, the Cardinals, and the Bengals? Mwah! chef's kiss. Let's go. Like, you like that lineup. And now, and maybe it's an overreaction. Who knows? But after 2 games in the preseason, I'm sitting here hoping by September 30th we play Cincinnati, that game doesn't get flexed by the NFL Network till Sunday. They're like, hey, never mind. We're just going to put some NFL greatest games or greatest hits on. We don't need the Jaguars prime time. Let's go ahead and flex that game out. And it's the first flex game in Thursday Night Football history. That's where I'm afraid we're going to go.
It won't.
So show up in
Joe
Houston.
Burrow, Trevor Lawrence, too
okay.
good.
Well, are you sure? All right.
Unless he starts Gardner or something.
Okay.
I don't know. Or C.J. Beathard.
Or C.J. Beathard. Okay. So show up in Houston. Show up at home against the Cardinals and the Broncos because I don't want to be flexed out against the Bengals.
Yeah, it's wild. It's going to be interesting to watch. We see it just. It's the way it happens. It's undeniable. There's going to be a lot of pressure on that Week 1 game. That is the moral of the story. Hey, we got football at 5 coming up here at Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. We're live at J-Tech Institute. More on Travis Etienne. If you're just catching up, we'll give you the latest on Etienne. It's really bad news for the Jacksonville Jaguars, first-round pick and the running back out for the season, what it means for everything else, and more about that football game and everything else happening in the world of sports. Coming up, football at 5 on ESPN 690.
It's the national sales event at Arlington Toyota. Come shop over 700 new Toyotas and choose your way to save. Get interest rates as low as 0% on over 10 new Toyota models or enjoy no payments until 2022. Plus, with Arlington's 30-day exchange program, you get 30 days to love your new purchase or exchange it. And with every new car purchase, you get a lifetime warranty with unlimited time and miles. Why wait? Shop the national sales event at arlingtontoyota.com today. Visit arlingtontoyota.com/August for full details.
If you're like me, you come home from work and walk through a messy garage hurdling shoes and bats and bikes. Well, get the Easy Garage solution that I got. It's called Easy Garage Solutions. One-of-a-kind monkey bar technology that will last a lifetime. Hang the bikes and the lawn equipment. Easy Garage Solutions. Shelving and overhead storage for boxes and bins. Easy Garage Solutions. Cabinets and flooring available too. Easy Garage Solutions. Find them at easygaragesolutions.com. Easy Garage Solutions. It's that easy.
When you think about Jacksonville, you think about a city that is surrounded by water. And being by water afforded Jacksonville to have one of the largest container ports in the entire country. And another fun fact that RV sales are at all-time high right now. But what does this all mean? What am I getting at? It means that there's high-paying jobs available for those that know the ins and outs of the marine side and of the land side of recreational vehicles. And this is where J-Tech comes into play. J-Tech offers a program where you can learn about the diagnostic procedures and effective repair methods of a variety of recreational vehicles, including motorhomes and RVs, power boats, jet skis, diesel and gasoline, outboard and inboards, and much more. And they also help prepare students to take the Yamaha certification exam, which is required in the Marine Maintenance Certification Program. To learn more about J-Tech, visit jtech.org or call them at 904-483-9460. Ask for Hank to set up an appointment to tour the campus or get your questions answered. That's 904-483-9460 or visit jtech.org.
Personal injury law firm Fair & Fair is now accepting applications for its second annual Empowering Greatness Scholarship Program. Fair & Fair will award 5 rising high school seniors across Florida a 2-year college plan. The plan prepays tuition, registration fees, and 60 credit hours at any of the 28 Florida colleges. To be eligible, students must attend a public or charter school. Visit fairandfair.com/scholarship.
Hello, Jacksonville. This is Greg McGarity. The future of college football is now, and our primary goal is to position the Tax Slayer Gator Bowl and Jacksonville to be prepared for a potential college football expansion. And we need you, our local business leaders, to join our team and showcase that Jacksonville supports college football. Gator Bowl Sports has opportunities for all companies, whether you have 5 employees or 5,000. I would love to meet you and talk about our future. If you'd like to learn more, contact me at 904-798-1700.
It is the home of the Action Sports Jax Dream 18, and make it your home course as well. The Golf Club at Southampton in North St. Johns County, located off County Road 210. It's family-owned and operated. Southampton is a fun course to play, and the Golf Club at Southampton offers club membership programs starting at just $79. With its elite practice facilities and player-friendly golf course design, it'll be your gateway to a great time with the family or with your buddies. For information on the membership programs, call the Golf Club at Southampton, 904-287-PLAY. Again, it's 904-287-PLAY.
Goodyear believes in the power of moving forward. No matter if it's on the track, the court, or the field, movement makes us want to be more. It pushes us to go further, to show the world what we can do. Movement has the unique ability to change our perspective, to challenge us, to work for a better tomorrow. Movement can even bring us together when we're still. Because if we're focused on the next move, we don't have to worry about what's behind us. Goodyear, more driven.
5G is here, but the big term contract to get in on the action. Well, no more, because Straight Talk Wireless has rolled out 5G coverage nationwide, with plans starting at just $35 a month with no contract. And get a Samsung Galaxy A32 5G for only $299, all on America's best networks. 5G coverage, 5G phones, less money. Straight Talk Wireless, no contract, no compromise. 5G capable device required, actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
Unable to play because of COVID-19 protocols. That is part of the new reality that comes with being a sports fan. With the ESPN Radio Sports Beat, I'm Jason Fitz.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Breaking news, Jaguars running back Travis Etienne has been placed on injured reserve, ending his rookie NFL campaign before playing a single down in the regular season. He'll undergo surgery for a Lisfranc injury. An admission from Patriots coach Bill Belichick that with quarterback Cam Newton away from the team facility because of a COVID-19 protocol misunderstanding, a big opportunity's been created for first-round pick Mac Jones. It's unlikely Jones can beat out Newton for the starting job this week, believes former NFL quarterback Matt Castle.
I think that they've pretty much made up their mind that Cam Newton's going to be their starter to start this season, and they're going to give him the opportunity to go out there. Cam's going to get the first nod no matter what, whether or not, Matt goes out there and has 3 practices and they're all good practices. I still think that they'll start the season off with Cam Newton at quarterback.
Matt Castle on Greeny with Mike Greenberg. The ACC, Big Ten, and Pac-12 announced an alliance to work together on items like football scheduling and college sports governance. The move comes less than a month after the SEC invited Texas and Oklahoma to join that league.
Download the DraftKings app and use code CJR to get a free shot at millions of dollars up for grabs this week with your first deposit. Minimum $5 deposit required. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. This is Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690 with Brent Martineau and Austin Lane.
He's shown me great talent, and we were planning on to use him, and then he looked up there and he's lipping off the field. So, yeah, and then, he was out in open space and stuff, it was a great throw to him. But I see what everyone else sees, a talented guy that we got to get in space. Yeah, it's a sprained foot. We'll know, we don't know the seriousness of it yet.
Well, that was Urban Meyer last night after the game, just before midnight. And about 2 o'clock today, word came down that Travis Etienne's lost for the year. He's been placed on injured reserve. It's a Lisfranc injury. That's not a good injury for any player, any athlete, but especially a running back in the NFL. We've seen it before with Maurice Jones-Drew. We've seen it before with Corey Grant. Now we see it with the Jags' first-round pick in 2021, Travis Etienne. Running back is out for the year. That's the big story here on a Tuesday. Brent Martineau, Austin Lane, football at 5. We're live at J-Tech Institute here in Jacksonville. We'll be here a couple of times over the next few months. Really cool place, big facility, over 500 students go here with a bunch of different focuses. I got a sheet in front of me, marine and RV technology. That's pretty cool. By the way, I think I'd be interested in that because someday I'm going to own an RV. I have no real interest in owning a boat, but I do want to own an RV.
Well, and the cool thing about it, because they offer so much, they offer HVAC, which is, with the air conditioning units, like you said, marine and RV, but they all have something in common. They're all essential jobs, right? So obviously when COVID-19 hit, and employment rates were down and everything, I mean, people in these fields, they're still in high demand just because they're always in demand. So that's the cool thing about J-Tech is when you come here and you learn your trade, you learn your skill set, it's going to set you up for success down the line and having an essential job that's always in demand.
Yeah, I was looking at some of the classes and the technicians working on cars out there. I mean, you get hands-on experience. It's pretty cool. It's just, all right there in the open. Career options in the marine and RV technology field include marine technician, marine mechanic, outboard technician, boat mechanic, boat technician. So a lot of different things are covered. And by the way, the next J-Tech start date, September 27th. Enroll today and start your journey towards an essential career at jtech.org.
And it's cool, too, because I feel like this place doesn't even close. I met someone that was coming in, getting ready to go to class, someone that was getting ready to leave. Yeah. So, they do offer night classes. They offer 2.5-day schedules as well per week. So even if you have another job or if you're trying to flex this in your schedule, they can work around you to make sure you can do that.
Check it out, jtech.org. Brent Martineau, Austin Lane, Casey back in the studio. Football at 5. Travis Etienne, the big story. Casey, if we can, Mike Tannenbaum, former GM in the league and now is an analyst for ESPN, he had about a minute take on what he saw last night from the Jags in 2 areas of concern. I want you to hear what Mike Tannenbaum has to say and see if you agree.
My concern with Jacksonville, watching them last night, is twofold. One, their offensive line, again, continues to struggle, specifically Walker Little, second-round pick out of Stanford. He struggled with the bull rush. And when you put that on tape, opposing defensive linemen are going to look for that vulnerability. So that's something they're going to have to either address or give him a lot of help early in the season. And then defensively, I believe in Joe Cullen. I think he's going to do a really good job. But I built defenses for that scheme. And on the back end, you want to play man-to-man. And they signed Shaquille Griffin from Seattle, who to me is more of a zone corner. And that showed up last night. His lack of play speed, he got beat deep. And again, for a team that wants to blitz and be as aggressive as that scheme likes to be, Joe Cullen coming from that Baltimore Raven defense, I don't know if Shaquille Griffin is someone that's going to be a good scheme fit. So those were 2 big acquisitions for Jacksonville in the offseason. And I left that game thinking they have 2 big question marks on the offensive line and at corner.
Well, that's Mike Tannenbaum talking about the Jaguars, and it's an interesting thought. I'll get to the second part because I think that's his better take, quite frankly, and a more interesting take. The Walker Little part is, okay, he started the game yesterday, but he started in place of an injured Cam Robinson. Mm-hmm. Cam Robinson still is the starting left tackle for this team. And let's just say Walker Little was the tackle, and they went with him for a bit, and he was struggling. Well, then they could go to Cam Robinson. So they have somebody there to take, at least from a depth standpoint. But again, Walker Little is a little bit of a work in progress, even though he's been such a star in camp and everybody's been talking about him. They don't need him to play right away and play effectively. That should be Cam Robinson's job. Keep in mind, they paid him $14 million on the franchise tag. Cam Robinson better get that job done, and he better win that job. They paid him $14 million to do it.
Yeah, I don't know all of a sudden who anointed Walker Little as the starting left tackle of the
everybody.
Jags. Well, okay, I guess everybody. I mean,
everybody outside the building,
Yeah. I didn't.
No, I know.
Okay, but I mean,
not everybody.
No, I get it. No, for sure. But Walker, these are, it's called growing pains, I guess. And you went against guys in Cam Jordan and Marcus Davenport who are respectable rushers, man.
Pretty good.
More than respectable rushers,
good.
one could say. And guess what? It didn't go that well for you. I'm sorry, but once again, it's not going to be one-on-ones all the time. It's going to be in a live setting where is it going to be a blitz? Do you have movement along the line? Like, you have to call out all these things. And like Quincy Williams so eloquently put it one time when he was a rookie, your head's in a beehive. And sometimes it can be too much. You saw it with Walker Little last night. I'm not ready to write Walker Little off by any means, but in terms of the left tackle position, he's obviously not going to be the answer day one against Houston.
Yeah, so the second part of that is more interesting to me.
Yeah.
Did the Jags make a calculated mistake targeting a corner in free agency in Shaq Griffin? Now, listen, I love the guy. I mean, I really love the guy. I mean, he's a fun, energetic guy. I think he's a good football player, too. I really do. So I'm not super alarmed. I have this mentality. I told you this last week. I just feel like you can't tell me that rep in that game last night didn't mean more to Marquez Callaway than it did to Shaq Griffin. Of course it did. Of course it did. Griffin's been playing a while. So I'm not saying he wasn't trying. So I'm not giving him a pass, okay?
Yeah, come on.
I'm just saying This guy's going to win a job in a roster spot. The other guy's trying to get some work in. I believe there's a mentality there. Whether that's right or wrong, I think that exists. But that's not a free pass. Shaq Griffin hasn't really looked that great in the first couple of games. They brought him over. There is, I agree with what Tannenbaum says in a sense, or I understand what he's saying, because Seattle does play a lot of zone, right? I mean, they play that cover 3 defense, and that's very zone-oriented. Yeah. You bring them over into this scheme, and you are going to get left on that island. It puts pressure on the corners. And the Jags have some corners, but do they have good enough corners? Might be a legitimate question here coming out of the first couple of weeks of these games.
You know, it reminds me, and it's not a bad observation coming from Seattle. Reminds me of a guy by the name of Richard Sherman. Richard Sherman, you know, out of Stanford, I think he went 4th or 5th round in the draft.
Yeah.
And the big knock on Richard Sherman was what? It was the fact that, well, he can't play man coverage, you know? And if you can't play man coverage, can you really make it in the NFL? You know, like he's not physical, all this stuff, right? Well, what does Seattle do? Seattle says, all right, well, we can't play man coverage, that's fine. We're going to specialize in cover 3 or other zone coverages, and we're going to be okay. We'll put him at what he's good at, and we'll see what happens. Well, what happens? Sherman becomes one of the best cornerbacks in the league for years to come after that. Why? Because they put him in a position to succeed. I'm not sure if Shaq Griffin is the best in man coverage or not. What we've seen so far, well, probably not the best right now. He's going to have to be. But to try to counter your point a little bit in terms of, okay, that game meant a lot more to Callaway than it did to Griffin, and I absolutely agree with you. You know, in terms of getting 10 hours of sleep, maybe Callaway went to bed even extra early. Maybe he turned off the PlayStation and said, I got the biggest game of my life. I got to make this team. Michael Thomas is out. I got to be the one receiver. And guess what? Callaway showed up. I would hope, though, from Shaq Griffin's standpoint, where I get it, you're on a new team right now. You are a veteran, but you're also a leader of this defense. You've been brought in not only to be the shutdown corner, but also be a leader of this defense. And if you're getting burnt by Marquez Callaway, it's not a good look from the position, number one, but number two, obviously, from being a leader as well. So maybe he did take this game lightly. I don't think so, though. I don't think that's in his demeanor. I don't think he's comprised of that. Because I think of guys like Puz, leaders, captains, Darryl Smith. Like, it didn't matter if it was a practice. Puz is going to lay the wood on someone. Yeah. It didn't matter if it was a walkthrough. Darryl Smith might, hit a tight end. Like, they're built like that. So I'm not going to give Shaq Griffin the excuse there, but we can all agree whether, he did take it lightly or not. He's got to improve his performance just because you're going to be counted on to be a leader of this defense.
Yeah, I look at, preseason for some of these veteran guys versus the regular season. I kind of approach a live shot versus a look live, like something taped. That's what we call a look live in our business, okay? Okay. So if I tape something, I'll be like, okay, in the back of my mind, I can do this again, right? In the live setting, I'm like, I better nail this sucker, and I'm more focused and ready to roll. No, I don't always nail it, but I got to still be ready to roll. So, I mean, in my world, that's kind of what preseason or regular season is for these guys. Okay. They know, hey, if I try something here, or if I do something here, or I mean, it's preseason, it doesn't count.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's on national television. I don't want that to happen. That doesn't count. Yeah. So that's where I mean by the mentality of it. I just think it's more human nature. I'm not saying they're purposely I'm not going to play hard, And so I just think there's a subconscious there with some of this stuff in the preseason. I think that's why a lot of times you see such different results in the regular season. And that's not just the Jags. I mean, that's across the league. You can see teams be horrendous in the preseason and then look good the first month of the year. I don't know what we're going to get from the Jags. It's unpredictable. Preseason is very unpredictable. But I think the big topic is more the concern of the secondary. They are going to get put on islands. That's the way this defense is. And by the way, I think the fan base likes that, Austin. This fan base was tired of the 4-3, the zone, the giving up stuff underneath. They're like, bring the pressure, do something.
Stop the run.
They were tired of it, right? Yeah. I mean, they're tired of sitting back. Heck, some of the players were. Jalen Ramsey, Deshaun Gibson. They didn't like the scheme, even playing in it at times. Didn't give them an opportunity to go make plays. Well, this is a fun defense to play in because it gives guys opportunities to go make plays. Well, when you do that and you blitz, you also become susceptible to the plays and to the big plays if you don't do your job. Bottom line is, the Jags are going to get beat sometimes. Yeah. They have young corners. I think they have talented corners. They have Shaq Griffin, who's a veteran guy. Doesn't mean he's not going to get beat sometimes. He's not, quite frankly, Jalen Ramsey. Yeah. He's not what Richard Sherman was, at least not yet. He hasn't proven that. Yep. You don't say Shaq Griffin top 3 corner in the league. Correct. I don't think anybody's saying that. So the Jags are going to give up some of these plays. The thing about it to me is, can they make plays, and will it pay off playing this style of defense once they kind of figure it out and get cooking?
Yeah, I mean, great points. And you maybe said the most important thing. And, I played on a number of defenses, whether it was here in Jacksonville, there's in Kansas City, Chicago, or Detroit. And I always say this, that the funnest defense that I ever played in by far was a Jim Schwartz defense, because it allowed you to pin your ears back, go after the quarterback, and make plays. And what happens when you make plays? You get paid, right? And guys like getting paid.
That's right.
Guys like getting money.
And you remember those plays.
And I remember those plays. So when we talk about this defense now that Joe Cohen's bringing over from Baltimore, it is going to be that. It's going to be a lot of blitzing. It's going to be, all right, now it's your time to shine. Now it's your time to shine. And it's going to keep guys honest, and it's going to keep guys, flying around having fun, which it should be. It shouldn't be vanilla. You should mix it up every once in a while and confuse the offensive line. That's what this defense brings to the table, and you're absolutely right. Sometimes you're going to push the wrong button and you're going to lose on it. I mean, you saw it last night. Jameis Winston had the perfect throw of all perfect throws. I mean, it wasn't the worst coverage from Shaq Griffin. You'd like to see him, get a little more on it.
Cisco came off the edge on that play.
Exactly.
Nice, right?
And it was.
They made a good play.
It looked great. Winston made a better play. But at the same time, you got to expect some of those things. But once again, if we're going to be in man coverage and if you're going to be Shaq Griffin, how many of those times can that happen?
Yeah, well, you can't happen too much. Again, I understand the nature of the defense might happen a little bit. See, what the Jags basically said for the last however many years, if you go back to that defense, and by the way, they had success. They had good players. They were one of the best defenses in the league for a couple of years at it. But what they said is, I'm not going to give up the big play. Mm-hmm. Well, what this Baltimore defense says is, we're going to go make some damn plays, and you know what? Once in a while, we might give up a big play. Yeah. That's what it says. I mean, that's the way you're doing it. If you're going to put a corner on an island, that's what's going to happen sometimes. And those guys, you're going to play good quarterbacks and good receivers. And last night, I'm not even sure that's a good quarterback or a good receiver, but they did make a hell of a play on it, on the one. The problem is, I have more of a problem on the 12-yard, 15-yard. Easy, man. It's like run down to the mark, come in, boom, ball right on you.
Yeah.
And they're not like a deflection. I have more of a problem with that than actually like the second touchdown. The first touchdown was a little problematic in my mind, too, because Tyson Campbell's getting lost.
Yep.
But it was more just the boom, boom, boom nature of, it's 3rd and 7, no problem. Here's 12 yards.
Yeah.
Here's the first play of the game, 15 yards. With hardly any resistance. Looked like they were just at practice.
But it's gonna beg the question, when you start playing, legitimate wide receiver cores. I think of Cincinnati, and assuming Joe Burrow is going to be healthy, how are you going to stop T. Higgins? How are you going to stop Jamar Jefferson? Those guys now. There are going to be better receivers out there than what you faced so far against the Browns and the Saints. And I wonder if this secondary now, which I held with such a high regard before that Saints game, I wonder what that's going to look like once the season comes around.
Yeah, I think it's really flipped on its head coming out of a couple weeks of camp, and even some of there was flashes against Cleveland. They gave up a bunch of passing yards, but that was mostly underneath stuff. And so there were flashes by CJ and by Tyson and by Cisco. We didn't get a flash. Remind me of a play that I saw a flash in. I mean, it was Chappelle Russell who almost picked the play. Right?
But that's the thing too, Brent. That's the factor now. On the offense, what can we say? Okay, it doesn't look good right now, but maybe they're down a couple offensive linemen. Maybe they're trying to be a little more vanilla. We can try to pick at excuses, not saying they're right or wrong, but we can try to find the excuses there. On the defensive side of the ball, maybe you haven't showed your full arsenal, but guess what? Whether it's the preseason or regular season, you're going to be in man coverage. We know that. We know that's what it's going to be. And we've seen what it looks like so far, and it could look a little better. So, there's really no excuse for that. What you have is what you have right now, and the question is, can they build off it and get better?
Well, then there's the biggest story of the day. Travis Etienne out for the year. I mean, such a blow for the young man. I can't imagine being a rookie, getting excited for the year, all the stuff, and probably seeing a playbook that includes you doing some different things, and then this. And again, it wasn't even like a crazy play. It was just one of those injuries. And Liz Frank it is, out for the year, will have surgery, on injured reserve. There's no chance of coming back. I'll tell you what I said in the top of the show and a couple of times. And I talked to Maurice Jones-Drew. You've had this, Austin. Yeah. I talked to Maurice Jones-Drew, who many people remember having it. Corey Grant had this. Well, Mojo told me today when I asked him about it, he said at least he's going to go get surgery. Because that's what I would advise him. Don't try to come back in 8 weeks, 12 weeks and play on it. Go get surgery, get it fixed, come back next year. Mm-hmm. And so that's what he obviously was advised to do anyway. That's what Travis Etienne will do. So hopefully down the road this doesn't impact him long term. But in the short term, it takes away a lot of excitement built around this offense that I thought they would have. And it takes away a weapon for Trevor Lawrence, a comfort zone for Trevor Lawrence, and a player for Darrell Bevell to really utilize on offense.
It's a huge loss. It's a huge blow. Anytime you lose a first-round pick in his rookie year, it's not a good look, And once again, a pretty routine play, I feel like, just, stepped the wrong way or twisted the wrong, whatever the case may be. It's definitely a heartbreaker, and that one's going to linger in that locker room, I feel like, for a little bit. Can we start a petition, though? Can we change the name from Liz Frank or Liz Frank to something else? Because of such a detrimental injury that takes you out for an extended period of time, or that can actually, have effects on your longevity of your career, to call it a Liz Frank, I mean, what are we talking about here? Because I told this story before. I remember when I hurt my Liz Frank, and I told my friends back home, I'm like, yeah, dude, I hurt my foot. Like, oh, did you break it? I'm like, no. They're like, well, what happened? I'm like, spraying my Liz Frank, and they're like, so you come back next week then, huh? I'm like, no. It's going to be a longer injury, but it's called the Liz Frank. I'm like,
surprised they didn't say who's she.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm starting a petition. I don't know where the name comes from. Sounds French to me.
Well, Dr. Osborne was on for the Center for Health and Sports Medicine. He called it Liz Frank. So I would assume it's definitely French.
Sounds French.
I don't know what the first name was.
I don't know who Elizabeth Frank
Pierre?
is. But I don't
Pierre
know
Liz Frank.
I don't know who
Liz
Elizabeth Frank is, but we got to change the name, guys.
So bigger than that, it does impact the Jaguars offensively, that's for sure. And hopefully a good recovery. It's not going to be a speedy recovery for Travis Etienne. It's a big blow. The Jags have maintained their health for the most part through this part of camp until now. And that is a big blow. That's one of those injuries you just don't want to see at any time in the year. But it's football, and it might happen. You just hope it doesn't happen at key positions. This is a key player on offense in my estimation. Hey, let's bring in Captain Rick Rouse right now, Florida Sportsman Fishing Report on Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. Tough to get a Liz Frank injury on the boat, I would hope.
I don't know, those waves?
Yeah, and, I was listening to your sidekick there, and I got to tell you, it could have been a Nancy Pelosi. I mean, it could have been worse. But I'd rather have a Liz Frank than a Nancy Pelosi, that's for sure. Pretty good day's fishing today, Brent. I got to tell you, especially for me. I got back in the back part of Sisters Creek in my kayak at dawn this morning. And, oh, my goodness, the redfish were rooting around in the mud. They had their whole backs out of the water. There were just school after school of them. I was so tickled to see them, had a great time, caught fish. Offshore today, snapper fishing was mostly what was going on. It's not open, but the FWC has got some boats in our area that they're conducting population studies with, and there are plenty